about that lemonade. Take a sip, blowing purple clouds, taste like lemon haze. Conversations back and forth like damn, we could go on for days. Looking back at it like damn, she bad when she walk away. Here we go, been down this road, they already know. When we go on tour, I'll take you anywhere you wanna go. People talk about us like they understand just what this is. I just wanna give you all you want and then the double it. They all say I'm way too young, maybe I'm just ignorant. I won't find nobody like you on some real shit. Spend a couple hours on the phone, hey. I don't wanna let you go, I'll be all about you, babe. I'll be all about you, babe. Saying so unless you don't know, they won't find what we got and that gon' drive me crazy, yeah. No need to rush, I'ma still be here tomorrow. Had to take my chances, baby, I just struck the lotto. And I'll be so gone, don't know where I go wrong. Don't remember last night, I blame it on the bottle. And I'm just living life.
Alright, what's up, y'all? Damn. You know, I'm trying to get the casino going again, and yeah, it's kinda like a it's probably gonna be kinda like a Telltale type vibe where I'm sitting in the chair right now, you know, playing games, listening to stuff going on the interwebs, trying to see what's up. Just trying to get everything going tonight. In a minute. Trying to pull up the stream here. All right, gaming and shaming. Hey, Carrie-Ann. All right, we'll see you in a bit, Carrie-Ann. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and switch over to the main screen. Hang on, let me check my sound and gather. Switch over to the screen. Sounding.
And can result in anything from the demand for private and public confessions, and even community surveillance and sanction.
How many Christian groups do you know of advocate for the use of Covenant Eyes or a software similar, where the conduct that you do on your phone or laptop is monitored? Every web page you visit is continually screenshotted all day and all night.
Hopefully y'all can hear me gather. I have a friend who works for Covenant Eyes.
It is reported by the app to your accountability partner. 24/7 surveillance. Yay! Thanks, purity culture. Oh, fuck. Ministry houses. Hello? 24/7 surveillance. Your living situation
I know about all that.
Bound up with other Christians. Fan-fucking-tastic. They know where you are. They know when you've gone to bed. They know when you've gone to work. They know when you've gone to school. Yes, Alarian, those apps do that. They screenshot your every activity on the web at different intervals, but especially when there's enough nudity. And there's some pretty funny, like, false flag things that can happen. Like, look at ancient art and shit like that. It'll be sent to your accountability partner, which, by the way, when that software is used outside of the collegiate age, where the accountability partner was a discipleship relationship with someone of the same sex, the accountability partner is often switched to your spouse.
God damn it, I'm trying to work on this scene.
Just think about that for a little bit. Let that marinate for you. Yes, that's right. Marriage, a place of trust? Fuck no. Hubby's gotta have Covenant Eyes on his phone, because you never know when your dude's gotta see some titties. aren't yours. Gotta keep them on the screenshot leash, guys. Can't. I mean, he's just a complete feral beast that without Jesus looking over his shoulder every day, he could just go out looking for whores. So make sure that he's got another accountability partner in the group, or you're his accountability partner, so that you know if he's looking at the pornos. Yay. And Raphael's right. We did keep things on a database, or we would at minimum have someone be a scribe at leaders' meetings noting the sins of disciples or other members of the group, where things like this would get said. Let's say I'm still me, Nitty. I'm like the home church leader, and I'm talking to Ted, and Ted is studying with little John. And I go, Ted, how's Johnny doing with the porno? And I look over and I go, hey, Jimmy. Yeah, is your dude Marcus? He's still fucking his girlfriend? Oh, he is? Oh, we gotta kick him out of the group. Yeah, he can't be doing that. Yeah, that's just too much sin, man. You think he should have to tell everyone in the cell group? Oh, next week is the college connection? Yeah, fuck it, we're doing it then. Yeah, I know, the high schoolers won't know what's happening, but it'll be good for them to see us use God's discipline on Marcus. Oh, wait, what? John and Marcus are friends? Yeah, that explains a lot. Look at that. The sin's infecting the church now. Yes, Mark. That's exactly what we would do. It was disgusting.
These are the teachable moments of their hidden curricula, which impart enormous harm while being commended as enlightenment. These poor people are taught is what makes up true Christian faith. But that's not Christian learning. It's a harsh...
Yes. Basically, yes. Or, you can't forget that it wasn't just like the overt stuff that we kept track of. It would be conversations like this too. Hey, Brenton. Yeah, Nitty, what's up? Hey, Brenton, is your dude, Charlie doing evangelism this week? Oh, no, man. Charlie's been dropping the ball. He hasn't been reaching out to any of his friends in his classes. I mean, I don't know what to do to motivate him. Oh, man, Brenton. You don't know what to do to motivate him? You've been through all our leadership classes, man. Do we need to discipline you? I was married through most of it, so not really. Maybe if I drank too much a few times sometimes, but other than that, no. But yeah, it could be like, tracking our righteousness, evangelism acts. So it wasn't just like, sin, bad stuff. It was bad if you weren't doing enough of the good stuff.
hidden curricula of the heretical tradition to rely upon fear to instruct, captivate, and dominate a learner.
Yeah, and I'm going to get meta here. How many Christians in your life, or do you believe that if you give up Christianity, your life will fall apart? That if you stop believing, everything's just going to go into complete and utter poop. It's going to be a big pile of shit. And not only that, you're going to go to hell if you stop doing the Christian things our Christian way. Please tell me how that is any different than scaring you into obedience. I call it future character assassination, because you don't know who you will be tomorrow anyway, right? None of us really do. But it makes you afraid of your future self unduly. There's no real reason to be afraid of your future self, unless you have a religious narrative telling you that if you make too many steps in the wrong direction, get into the wrong belief space, don't meet our cloning standards, you're going to hell. Oh, maybe you won't go to hell. Maybe you believe in once saved, always saved. Your life will go to hell. Your relationships will fall apart. You'll be lonely. You're just going to look at porn all the time. You'll be a drunk. You're going to smoke weed. You're going to be strung out on drugs. Your family's going to hate you. Your kids will be disobedient sinners. How is that any different? Just illuminate it for me in the comments, please. How that's not equally terrifying. I started to pick up on this early on in my deconversion process. I said to myself, why am I afraid of my future self? I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Why do I assume that what I'm going to do tomorrow, if I'm not doing this, if I'm not coming to these 4 meetings a week, if I'm not reading my Bible, if I'm not praying as much, why do I assume that I'm going to be this evil, heinous creature that I don't experience now? Why do I think that about it? It's fear that you're going to be out. It's fear that you really are something that you've never demonstrated be the case. It's just poisoning the well of your thinking about yourself. And what's worse, and I'm pretty sure it's therapeutically verified that it can act as a self-fulfilling prophecy. Christians themselves believe this, that your actions arise from your beliefs. And in counseling, it's very much the same, where you're interacting with your counselor and they'll tell you, drop the negative self-talk, because all it's doing is wiring the centers in your brain to tell you that you are inadequate, that you don't deserve better, that you are going to act this way, and it will further demotivate you from the things you really want. That's just all a psychological game. It's the wiring in your head. The more that you go down these neural pathways to convince yourself that you are this evil, reprobate, gross person that could just fly off the handle at any second, the more likely it is to be the case later on. Stop. You can. And if you don't think you can...
All right, y'all. Thanks for bearing with me. This setup should be nice.
Talk to people like me. Go see a
I suck at driving on dirt.
counselor.
That's what we're here to learn.
Please, drop this narrative, because I believe you're more than that. You aren't this future evil
It's gonna be.
person.
I guess it's definitely
Leaving
like
the
you
cult,
can't see the chat. I'm
leaving
sure
your
the chat
religion won't
on that
make
stream
you
is too small.
a heinous evil person.
So I should probably just make it full screen.
Fear is one of the most painful stimuli one can encounter, and these phobias
But this works.
become
This will be
irrational and
nice. We'll
damaging
be able to chill,
when each
watch
group
some stuff,
prompts
stuck at the malt
members to an
shop.
extreme state of anxiety over them. In both churches, this oppressive environment coming at the members from all directions at all times coming out of their heretical culture.
The truth is, I am
has resulted in
trash
some of
at
the most
driving on
terrible
the dirt.
plights of cult members I think I've ever seen.
And I want to
This
see
is
if
a
I can
great point, Mark.
find like a setup.
We all have a
online.
part of us that is the critical parent. The trick is to listen to your healthy adult. Well, I wonder though
Let me see.
if there's in part, it's not that I think the language of Christian and Bible belief is very interesting to think about with this dynamic, because God is the critical parent. Your authoritarian group is the critical parent.
I got
need
this
the faith
one
of a
set up,
child.
but it's a road tune.
You
I need
are
a
the
fucking dirt
stupid
tune so
sheep
badly.
that needs the direction of your heavenly Father. You are the sinner that needs the motivating Holy Spirit to get you to act right. There is no
All right, hang
healthy
on. I got
adult
some. I'm
in
looking at some.
you.
Can y'all see what I'm looking at?
Your flesh is dirty. Your mind and your
Oh,
heart
weird.
are broken. You're a
Oh, actually, that's kind of
child.
nice because you guys are. I'm like able
You're
to look up stuff and you can still
incapable.
listen to Nitty.
There is no
All right, I'm
healthy
feeling
adult
that.
to listen to, Mark. That's what's so much worse. This is what I believed about myself. I am the sheep. I am the child. I need all my decisions made for me. Have I bounced this off the group? Have I bounced this off of God? Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. It's
All right,
it's a
let's see.
critical
I
parent
found a-
that
I
is
found
a
a
construct
car
of all those
spec.
external influences. Okay, I can see that.
All right,
But-
let me see, y'all. Let's see.
I still think it's worse than that because you never get the chance to build a healthy adult. A healthy,
It's a Nissan, so let's see
independent
if we can get
person that has an attitude
all these great Japanese
of
car brands.
self-worth, that can view themselves
go.
highly enough, make decisions on their own. Because stepping out of the belief narrative becomes so scary.
Look at all these GTR rallies. There's no way
One
this is a
biggest fear
GTR.
is about being found not doing
How
God's
is
will,
this
which
a
is,
GTR?
as I said, whatever each cult's leader
That's a straight
determined
Le
that
Mans
is.
car. That is
Another
in
very
no
real
way
fear
meaningful way a GTR.
is being cast out of the church for the supposed missteps. Worst of all,
It
a
looks
fear
nothing like
exists
any of these
of
cars.
hellfire for falling short in any way of proving their worth to the group's endless religious busywork.
All right, what
That's
car
not
did they go
Christian
with? The
love in the
GTR
slightest.
V-Spec 294?
That's not Christian liberty either, but a purely human religious slavery chasing the whim of a cult leader using terror to supposedly edify.
Where was that comment from Antonius? And
Maybe
Antonius
I have
left
one.
a external group to mine. Usually when people leave groups like Freedom Fellowships was the one he was a part of, people will say that the part of person never knew God in the first place. Which
this
is also
this is one of
saying
my good cars actually. My
this person was headed for hell in the
GTR.
first place. See,
let's
it's
see what I
not
got
enough
in my Nissans.
to say that, or they can't even extend the charity that this person still believes, but they just don't believe in what you are doing. They don't have enough charity to believe that there's just other
All right, I
valid
do have the
forms
car.
of being a believer.
So let's give it a shot.
And so when you leave,
All right, now we'll go into car
you're
settings.
following
We'll
after
save
the world.
this setup
You're doing things for the evil one.
as
And we'll use scripture to justify it. If they
We'll just
have
call
left
it
us,
like
they were never with us in the
road.
first place. I think it's 1 John
or something. Let's just call it
chapter
base.
3. 1 John chapter 3. Towards the end.
And
Is it loving to dismiss struggling believers as sinful losers? In cults, There's a
that
terrible
it's a
price to be
road
paid for
car
falling to temptation,
or a road
for having
tune.
personal problems and mental challenges. Yet there's few more heart-rending spectacles than to see the mauling of Gladstone, Madison, and Zenos Wells' young constituency under their invisible jackboots of vicious criticism and castigation for just being human. In Xenos, the personal struggle for some that tragically leads them into suicidal
Can I go get a livery
ideation
for this car?
when they couldn't handle the fear and pressure of life from the cults.
I would have.
Is
I mean, I
often
like the way it
mocked
looks.
as the
So
fruit
I wouldn't
of
mind having
pathetic
a livery for
spiritual
it.
wimpiness. That hasn't
Let's
stopped
get a paint
more
job.
than a few to go ahead.
I'm in the wrong area.
Unfortunately, women in Xenos who've endured domestic violence when they were told to stay in a dangerous relationship because divorce wasn't God's will for the situation have had to face these happy times together with a happy face and to play the role that they were told to play, or else otherwise they would have been viewed as
We were never of the pre-sub variety, so we had that going for us, I guess.
weak and gutless backsliders. That isn't Christian grace and mercy being extended to the hurting, but instead it's a bullwhip of razor wire applied as a ferocious encouragement to get with their cult's plan. A final question to consider here is it loving to discipline by group shaming and excommunication? How much of the love of God is beheld when the cruelties of a group's collectively guided aggression is directed at one person to punish them or even cast them out of their cult's haven of refuge? How much of the love really is there? How loving is it when house
Somebody
leaders
actually
or
like? Do these people like make liveries? I wish I could just like.
a brother or
Yeah,
sister
I just
who's
want to
been found
download
out,
them.
who's known to have broken rules, like spending their last few dollars on putting gas in the car and not tithing to some fund. And we can go right down the list ad nauseum.
Yeah, like I said, I painted it in the more visceral sins, but disciplinary meetings could be held over tithing. Disciplinary meetings could be held over someone not wanting to move into one of the overcrowded houses. Disciplinary meetings could be held for people who just don't come to every meeting. You could find an excuse to have a disciplinary meeting with a small band of people to try and get one outlier to conform. So I do it with the visceral
So you go to the
stuff because
cafe?
it's sensationalist and people go, ooh,
Oh, the showcase. Okay, hang on, y'all. We're gonna find some dope liveries. This will be so worth it. All right, here we go.
That's the fun stuff to talk about. But no, it could have been this simple stuff, and
The Doritos sold me.
And also the stuff I talked about earlier. Play catch up, guys. Where
All right, here we go. Content
someone's parent
search.
could be literally dying of cancer, and the college group would say, "This is a time to exercise faith. Get your life in order."
How much of the love of God flows when people are organized to interrogate and tease out
I think it's
the private
Styles.
details of some person's deepest sin, to watch them writhe in terrorized remorse just so they can vote to actually expel them from the midst as unclean and unworthy. I remember the horror I saw in the eyes and the flat dullness of the voice of a young woman who told me of having to confess
Nissan.
to her Xenos ministry house residents and
Here
visiting
we go.
teenagers who were just popping in that day that she'd fallen to sexual sin. To tell how often it occurred and what the nature of each sex
Shit, I forget.
act
Am I using a
was.
94?
Is that love in action? No.
Imagine being like
Yeah, 94.
18, 19-year-old young woman and saying, well,
Or current car, yeah.
I gave my boyfriend a blowy.
There it is. Look at all these nice
he
liveries.
touched
See, now we can
my-
just download one. Y'all see the
and
vibes.
we made out the other night. And yes,
I ain't gonna lie, that all
like
white
I said,
though.
I told you earlier in the stream,
some of
that this
these are
could
for
happen during,
wide
like a college
cars.
connection weekend with high schoolers now privy to this
Ooh, that's like the
information that
skyline
you-
paint job.
would not normally consent to telling
Kyle
them,
Petty.
basically strangers, what's
Man, there's
bit
so
more
many
disgusting,
nice
I guess.
ones.
is that it's not just. I bet most of you are imagining that
Yeah, this was
this is
great.
just
I'm
a
glad we
bunch
did
of
this.
17 to 23 somethings just being too authoritarian, being power hungry, assholes.
Oh, I like the Martini Skyline look.
Right? Being legalistic,
A lot.
gross, whatever. However, what most of you don't realize is that many of these college-age ministries, or even high school ministries, where they really believe that they have the true Christian vision,
All right.
where they believe that their church is the way.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with one of the
they
Martini
need to stay
ones.
pure or whatever.
Oh, the Midnight Purple Godzilla.
And
That's
that
nice. But I want something that
this
looks
style of
racy. Like I
discipline
want a
is
racing,
legitimate.
like a true.
It's not
a
just
true racing
17 to
livery.
23-year-olds. It's 15.
I think
to
I need one of these
however
Martini Skyline
old
ones.
The
I
oldest
like
leaders
this one a
are.
lot.
So now, my dear parents of minors who listen to my channel,
All right. Oh,
or
no, this is a
maybe,
wide
you
car
know,
one.
you're grown and your kids are
And
grown.
I don't think mine is wide. All right, so let me just go with the
But
regular Martini.
imagine your 15, 16-year-old child, because they are in many ways still a child. It's frisky, right? Like teenagers do.
All right, where do I download this thing at?
They're in a high school group of this church.
Election?
And they
Is that what you do?
decide to confide that in their early college age friend. Okay, nothing too bad about that. Unfortunately, your 15-year-old son's sexual history is now property of the church. Because we can't have that kind of sin pervading a high school group. So what happens
All right,
with
cool.
that
So I think I
information?
got it now.
Well, your son
And I can close. And now I've got to go, I think, back to
of not just a young
GT Auto.
college
This part's annoying. I wish I
It's the
could.
business
I wish
of
it like
his
I could apply it automatically from there.
34 to
But
50-year-old
it's all
married
love.
man.
Let's go to the livery editor.
Or the sexual history of your
Open design.
14, 15-year-old daughter is not just privy to her bestie
Yellow.
who just started college. Hell no. It's privy to the 34 to 40-some-year-old man
Hang on.
that she doesn't know, who now knows her complete sexual history. Because you can't have sin like that infecting your church. I knew the sexual history of a bunch of minors that I had no business knowing. None. Not one. None of them consented to telling me what they did behind closed doors with the consent of their partners. But I knew.
Load style?
Fuck.
There we go.
I
Load
knew
style. Okay.
what the sexual history was of pretty much every person I was ever in group with. Because not because they told me, because it was everyone else's business. And I knew why some couples broke up. Because everyone
Damn, it's 13
knows
grand too.
everyone else's
That's all right,
sexual
I want it.
activity. Without their consent. Is that love to you?
Hey,
Here.
what you think, Karen? That's looking.
My brothers in Christ.
That's looking like a race car.
Can I please know how many blowjobs your wife gives you? It's
That
a big goose
is
egg. You just type a
looking
zero in
like
the chat.
a race car to me, man. Okay, to me.
Can I know how many times you thought about masturbating?
All right, now we need
this
a
week?
tune up on this piece.
And you wives out there, I mean, please tell me how many times you may or may not have fantasized.
Let's see
about
how we
some
do now.
man in the group or that you work with, because that's everyone's business here. We're at church, and we have to know what kind of sin is in here. Okay? What the fuck is this? Greg Locke's congregation? Get out of here. I don't want to know that.
See, they got that martini paint job too.
No, what is wrong with you?
All right, let's see.
People doing this to kids. The kids. The kids. Imagine the fear.
All right, we're gonna make a new sheet.
Being 18 to 20 something.
We're gonna call it
knowing that everyone else is gonna know.
Dirt.
Because that's how you talk about each other, right? Oh, I hung out with my buddy Steve the other day.
All right, now here's
Steve
what we want.
me?
We want.
He's really struggling with.
Damn it! I don't even have dirt tires for this car.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. He just. Oh, he told you too? Oh, jeez. Yeah, what are we gonna do? I don't know. Should we bring it up with our house leader? Yeah, it's like the third time he told me, so guess it's his business now. Yeah, Pat. It really is a bit like auditing. I mean, it's so gross. So gross.
It is exactly like auditing.
But hey, that's why we have this channel, right?
5, 6.
Just tell it.
I'm just
like
copying some settings from a setup I found online.
And,
hoping that this gives us
paint myself the hero.
The type of performance we need to actually drive on dirt. Like, it has just been so
villain. I was the snitch. I was the auditor.
To be competitive in the dirt.
Oh, that
I don't know how I got
on Christians, so
third. You always need to get third or higher to get past these events. I won the 1-1 race, the road race. There's two road races, two dirt races and a road race.
They're my disciple.
I won the road race.
My college
and somehow managed to come in third in
their
the
so that they
first dirt race after
sin is in there.
A bunch of tries.
No possible, nothing could go
I don't know
wrong
about this.
Doing that, could it? No. Oh. Everything's fine. This is fine.
That's not Christian compassion uplifting the weak, but a voyeuristic Darwinian culling of the flock that gratifies a carnal.
All right, I got to go back and get a different differential gear.
God's spirit altogether.
Fully customizable so I can tweak that.
Remember, this is a Christian.
Yo, if I can get a third place finish, man.
Other Christians.
It'll all be
time
worth it.
just simply fails us to be any more specific or detailed with all the testimonies we could have offered, which we've gathered about the hateful, hidden curricula of Gladstone and Xenon's heretical tradition. At the end of this video, we'll roll a screen full of web links where these abominations are more thoroughly documented, and by no means are they the only ones out there. You can go surfing. You'll find it in places like Reddit and Twitter. But after almost 2 years of studying collection of eyewitness accounts, our ministry is convinced that the absence of true biblical agape love is how these evils have been occurring to this day, still go on behind closed doors, on work sites, in well-concealed coffee shop meetings, in the burning beds of horrific marriages gone wrong, and in drunken fellowships after Bible studies every Thursday night. Whether those intoxicants were fellowships involving spirits of liquor or a so-called Holy Spirit talking in tongues.
What? Those are on equal footing now?
I used to drink on my streams.
What's up, Wayne?
And I think
I'm on the casino channel.
In part why. One is that it's bad coping. Two, I had a belief that it's not a bad idea. Three, it was part of my religious practice. I was
you can adjust the acceleration sensitivity.
Some good things.
Yeah, that's been part of the problem is like it's so hard to accelerate.
Beer, so be it.
Without just spinning out in dirt, man. I'm telling you, the dirt's it's fun. The dirt is fun. It's fun when you can kind of rock with it, but it's frustrating when you don't have any control. Torque vectoring center differential. All right, we'll go 50-50.
It's what I do now that's important.
Yep.
And
all right, now let's do the arrow.
One of the things that I think
why can't I adjust my
people
arrow? I think it's because I don't have a wing.
Exercising a phenomenal amount of cognitive dissonance about is their drinking, and I had to numerous times go through the exercise that I'm doing right now in my life of reevaluating my relationship
let's
to a
see if
substance.
Putting a wing on this helps.
But I was supposed to have the Holy Spirit. I was supposed to be one of the righteous ones of God. And I guess people who are Christians watching this, if they watch,
I thought I had a wing.
Be like,
on
it's just evidence you didn't have the Holy Spirit because you got. Shut up. So many members.
I got to put a wing on it.
Adult men, like myself, from their mid-20s through early parenting, are doing exactly what Raphael said. They're developing a relationship with a substance at least once a week, if not every other night or every few nights, to make their fellowship and their meetings.
All right, now I think we can adjust the downforce. It's like a weird thing in GTA, Gran Turismo GT. You have to put a wing on your car to adjust the downforce. They won't really
talk about God or Jesus because they're too busy enjoying bourbon.
It's a fucking tuner game, man.
Football or watching fail videos
about collecting, tuning, racing.
But other times, we'll have studied the Bible for about 3 hours, and the bourbon comes out again, and you drink as much as you like, and you come to kind of expect it after every meeting. Or when you're a young parent and you've had the stress of work and the stress of raising your kids, and there it is again. Wow, it's time to kick open a few with my buddies. Honestly, it's not just the men.
All right, now we can.
There are women in this fellowship.
Why can't I
drink
adjust?
A bottle of
I gotta
wine
do something. I gotta put something on. I need like a front wing or something.
Maybe that's not so bad. But I can't help but wonder how many people my generation in this church are going to struggle with alcoholism later. Because it's at a point now, I think, for a lot of people in that life stage that are doing this, that I'm very aware are doing this, where it seems like it's benign. The regularity of it is just not being evaluated. And I fear for them that they will have to go through similar exercises like myself, where they'll say, I need to take a step back from this. Or they won't. And things will go downhill for them. And I don't want that.
Actually, you know what? Let's maintain this car while we're here.
I really don't.
Because I do drive this one quite a bit.
Because I know it's not really helping. I know things are getting said in marriages that probably wouldn't otherwise be said.
Also, y'all, airplane mode. Carrie Ann, thanks so much for joining me. Really appreciate having you here.
It breaks my heart for them.
Testing out the new setup.
I think it's a huge blind spot. And I hope
we got to get people back over here to the casino.
One of them or some of them hear at least this clip. Because I don't want
that's what they told me to do, to like change that angel.
I don't want your life
let's get an oil
apart
change.
because you're not doing your Jesus thing. I don't want you to feel isolated and alone.
I know, Carrie Ann. People don't realize that's how Gather got started.
Your parents are probably there for you. Your kids will be there for you. People in my live chat are here for you. Other atheists and non-believers and hell, progressive Christians are fucking here for you. So Yeah.
My body.
Yeah. Anyway,
Hey, Bree.
it was interesting to cover a Christian tearing apart other Christians. Or sorry, at least the self-proclaimed ones.
Didn't realize y'all could hear me over here.
I completely agree. And, you know,
No worries, I'm just
interesting,
gaming.
I guess, is that when I got evaluated recently, my psychiatrist even told me, she's like, you know, you might believe that you
Yeah, I needed
have
to add
a
that. Okay.
alcoholic relationship with this substance, but I can't
Why can't I go up to
admit
120?
you to a facility because you don't have enough of the characteristic symptoms or life problems. So it was my scrupulosity and kind of like acceptance dysphoria that makes me view my self-perceived problems more than they actually are.
All right, let's see if I can go up more
But
with
at
the
the
other
same
wing. I already
time,
bought it.
I should still be pretty conscious of my health and what I was doing.
I think it's weird that it won't let me go up even more.
And so-
Maybe it's because I
But
have to
having
buy
that
that
understanding from
extra.
professionals that,
Not you.
you know, a behavior like that can be
Oh
a
yeah, let's
negative
make sure I've
hope,
got the fully customizable
and
suspension. I think I
can
do.
be damaging to the mental well-being of a person by just doing even moderate amounts of it, so that your relationship to that
All right, I need to.
embrace nuance and
think I need to
understanding.
mute
In
too.
fact, my believing wife has been just absolutely amazing with being more understanding and not putting me in more shame than is necessary.
Although that MIDI
when I
music
make
is really
mistakes.
cool.
No, sorry. There's no shame. Sorry. Not guilty me over making a mistake. There we go.
Yeah, that music is fun. All right,
Yeah.
but I want to hear Nitty right now.
Yeah, it is. It's something I hope that makes this channel a little different. I'm an open book because I just don't have the time. It drove me nuts in Christian time or fellowship time when we would just talk about dumb shit. Like, literally, like, it drove me crazy when I had to try and talk down a Trump conspiracist or like talk about how the fabric of America is falling apart, or like, let's talk about each other. Let's talk about what we're struggling with. Like, let's help each other. Like, fuck all this stuff that doesn't have anything to do with how we actually live our lives. So I'd
I just
rather
want
be
to
an open
see
book with
if
my
I
channel and my
can
chat than
change the
anything else.
number.
Because I don't have time for that shit. You know, who the fuck cares about March Madness or whatever else? Like, or just screwing around.
Oh, I
watching
see
a
what
movie or
happened.
field
No, I
videos
want to
or
go with
getting
no
drunk or
number
eating
sticker
pizza.
because
Like,
they put a number on the
fuck all
decal.
that.
Okay,
Well,
no
let's-
worries.
Sorry, I'm being real sweary tonight.
Does it have?
But anyway, I don't feel like doing too much more tonight. It's the witching hour. I'm gonna hop around maybe I'll do some more atheist bar crawl around the YouTube. Who else is streaming? Mark, I know I started while you were doing your Reddit
Deal
coverage. I'll go back and watch your
range.
stream. If you don't watch Mark Reed, what is wrong with you? Go subscribe
Edit
to Mark Reed.
decal.
Thank you all for everyone that's been in attendance. I know I had Look at the Trees,
Modify.
Maya, Alarian, Antonius.
Yeah, I got to figure out how
You
to use
guys,
this at some point.
Tux, Ember. So good to see you. So glad to have you. Hopefully this week, even despite having my kids around, I'll still get back to my Deconverted's Guide to Deconstruction.
Interesting. I'm not gonna worry about that right now.
I just had some.
But if
extra,
I decide to like
kid
use
duty to
a
fulfill,
serious livery in
this
like a
past Sunday,
championship
so
or
I wasn't
something, or to
able
make
to.
some
But
videos, we'll worry about that.
there you
But
go.
delivery
Thank
editing
you all
here is
so
really
much.
great. All right,
There's so
Nitty's
much love from the
done.
Nittyverse because that's Nitty. We'll see you next time.
All right. Good shit, Nids. Good shit, my Nids.
I'm Drew Barrymore, and I'm hosting the Is it Titanic?
Is there what? Alright, I gotta switch my shit up here. I gotta change accounts. Cause this isn't, I'm not even logged into the right YouTube account. Okay.
Gordon Lightfoot died Monday.
Edmund Fitzgerald, Gordon Lightfoot.
The very one, but this is my favorite Gordon Lightfoot song.
Wait, hang on. Don't let me mute you because I'm streaming.
On the bitter green she walked the hills above the town, echoed to her footsteps as soft as
Oh, master.
I don't know what that's about. Oh, yo, Wayne, thanks for putting the game on. Steph, I muted your screen just because I'm streaming.
Oh.
No worries.
The song was over anyway.
Why the hell can't I hear Uncle Bobby?
Hey guys.
Hey,
Hey,
Nitty.
Hey, Nitty.
Hey, can we fix my account? Oh, thanks, Maya.
What's wrong with your account, babe?
Oh, my fucking... I don't know what happened to my other Gather account, so I've been just trying to log into my Gmail, but it still says it's a guest.
Maybe
So I have to...
God damn it.
What?
I'm a guest. Am I a guest?
You're
Well,
a guest.
I always have to ask Jay to get in here. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
come
you
on,
do.
Man.
I don't, are you using the same...
Nitty get his dues, damn it.
Are you using the
do.
same email address you normally use?
Yeah, man.
All right, just send it to me in chat. I have to probably send you like another email from Gather or something.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think I still have... I'm still paying up on Ko-Fi. Let me double check, though.
What the hell is... Oh, there.
Apologetics. Gang. All right, welcome to another episode of Gin and Truth.
All right, now
I'm
I gotta
the captain
go
of this
back
ship,
to...
Robert motherfucking Reed. I got a tumble full of Hendrix, got a mindful of thoughts. Let's go.
Boom.
God damn it.
God damn it.
I was getting so mad at my
All right, gang,
Fucking
let's jump
USB
into
hub
this shit.
fucking up my mic
Another
and camera
early morning
tonight.
edition of Gin and Motherfucking Truth. If I'm not sleeping, I might as well be doing some screaming.
Hey, Lena, what
Gang,
were
let's
you?
just jump into the meat of
You
today's
left a comment
bread
on
sandwich.
Hofstadter's page or Hassenpfeffer or whatever the fuck her name is, Sabine's page.
I don't know. Were you asking Lena, right?
Yeah, I was asking Lena.
Yeah, I don't know if Lena's maybe AFK or something. But yeah, I'm live on the casino channel gaming. Not that
Nice.
It's an issue. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Lena's AFK. I was gonna pause. I paused it in case you guys were gonna talk about that. But
That's fuckface Jeff Turman. Now,
also, Nitty, there was something you mentioned. Oh, I know what it is. I don't know if you've heard me talk about this before, but I actually have a friend from the church I played at who works at Covenant Eyes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and the funny thing is you'd fucking vibe with them like I did because he's like the sound guy and he's a programmer.
Oh my gosh.
Right? So he's like cool in that regard. And here's the fucked up shit about like empathizing with people. There was this way in which like he loved it, right? Like he was a true believer and he saw it as, you know, he's a young guy, he's like just got out of college and like he's willing to pick up his life pretty much and move from fucking Iowa to Michigan to help start this church and doesn't really know how things are going to turn out. And then he ends up getting this job at this godly organization where his skills as a programmer are put to use in kingdom work and getting a good check. And it was like, yeah, it was like that thing where you realize like, yo, the people that work there, like they're about that life.
Oh yeah,
And
they fucking are.
It's totally like, I don't know, what's the shit called in the Mormon church or whatever? Like the knowledge reports and the accountability partner, like they have a fucked up ass name for it. You mentioned it. Like the reports they have to write and shit. But it's literally that. And it's fucked up. It's like one of those things that people don't talk about. But it's so commonplace. And then even like when I worked at the church in New Jersey, like that was basically like the church house situation. Like I had an apartment, like just a regular apartment with like some people because I'd like moved there on my own, you know. But everybody else that worked there, all the other young adults, the guys lived at this like male only house on church grounds. And then the girls all like had to like live in this apartment they like rent and split. And so it was the same thing, like 24/7 surveillance pretty much.
Yep. So fucked up. But that's true community, Jay. That's real Christian love.
Exactly. It's when it gets to be too much. And to be honest, there's this weird sort of exploitation of young adults who like can't really do better for themselves financially and economically. And then ironically, it's like staying on this path is what will lead them to like never be able to do better for themselves really financially, which is why I think so many people go into ministry, right? That's the only upwardly mobile path once you're like far enough along this fucking grift.
Well, you're basically also being told like all other pursuits are worthless, right? Like you must do the Christian thing, otherwise, you know, you're going to be contributing to the world, or to, you know, you're going to be building your house on sand. It's all worthless if you're not doing our God thing.
So odd, man.
Not odd, it's just control.
a lot of control.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird that people, I was talking about earlier, like it's weird that people don't talk about it, like how crazy restrictive it is for people to be like all up in your sex life, all up in your masturbation life.
Oh man, somebody, I caught a post today from this like support group that I'm a part of, and they said that the women in these houses could not own a vibrator. Nope, can't. And I'm like, oh, but the guys get infinite ministry tissues, eh?
I did not receive any ministry tissues. I'm just in the
there was this one time.
I need new socks too, just completely different topic.
Yeah. But there was this one time we were moving this guy out who was getting married, and we moved his mattress, and it was just fucking
Ew! Don't even know.
tissue mountain.
Oh my goodness.
It was a structure. It just held against the wall there, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my goodness. Gary Ann's laughing at ministry tissues.
That's the best loving term I have for it.
That is what the Lord would call it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Did Jesus passeth on the ministry tissues? I bet if we look at the Last Supper, there might be some ministry tissues right there on the table in plain sight.
I mean, what do you think John washed Jesus' feet with? I mean...
No.
He's the disciple he really loved!
Oh my goodness.
Christianity is kink culture.
I mean, it's a little bit like more out there for me, like, you know what I mean? Like I guess I'm just a boring ass regular suck and fuck kind of guy. But you know, if blood magic is your thing, actually I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
I'm kink shaming. I think it's fucked up.
You know what it is? It's not their kink is breeding. The kink part of it is breeding. The whole culture is built on breeding, right? That's their problem with trans people is that, hey, don't turn these kids trans. We won't be able to breed them. It's all about breeding.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I mean, that's literally what the whole fucking definitional bullshit goes into every single fucking time.
Keep your young girls breedable, and yeah, and also if you feel like betrothing them to one of your older friends, that's perfectly fine too. It's pretty gross. Of course, that's going to be legal soon, but you know, it won't be legal for me to go get breast implants. Sorry, I don't mean to make everything about trans issues. I just get so sick of the breeder cult.
I would be pissed off. I mean, I have to be honest with you. I'm not trans, and I get it. It's just every day, and it's
yeah. Some other motherfuckers talking about
yeah,
it.
it's weird, and then it gets into this weird space where you're like, yeah, I'm trying to be down for the cause, but it seems like the best thing to do for the cause is not talk about the cause right now because everybody else is talking about the cause every goddamn day. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like everybody's why won't you guys shut up about it? It's like, well, why don't you guys shut up about it? We'd be happy to be flies on the wall.
Yes.
Like,
yes, 100%. But then what's weird is like every it's like that's these little guys, right, distracting us. But then there really is almost like historic news on the wider front every day as well, right? New laws, new attacks from some governor or some shit, new fucking physical attack, and then you feel like you can't look away from that shit, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
It's debilitating is what it is.
All right, let's check out this Uncle Bobby.
Now, I have
I'm here for it.
a particular hard-on of hatred for
I
all
can't hear
things
Uncle Bobby, though.
presuppositional
Oh, hang on.
apologetics.
I
Gang,
probably fucked
again.
that up.
Why do you keep fucking up?
Because I'm doing all sorts of new shit.
Get it
over
together,
here,
Bundy.
You know? All right, let's see. Boom. Maybe.
My least favorite.
All right.
Excuse that.
Can you guys hear that?
My least favorite apologist
Yes.
is fuck
Yeah.
Frank Turk.
Okay, great.
My least favorite style of apologetics is presuppositional. It is the single most dishonest way to enter a discussion.
Wayne, why'd
or
you
a
take the game off? Oh, the game's
Right.
I can still see the game. Never mind.
You go into
Good
it
shit.
thinking that you're going to talk to another.
This is what I love
mature
doing,
adult.
guys. I have like so
You
many
couldn't be more wrong,
screens,
right?
so I
They
like
go
watching a
into
bunch of
it,
shit at
again,
once.
one with the script, and two, with the mindset that they know what's in your head better than you do. You will straight up tell them, I don't believe in a God. You know what they'll tell you? Yes, you do. Then why am I here? Why am I a part of this fucking conversation? Funny how it is that you can ask all the questions. and
I'm
provide
racing,
all
watching the
fucking
game,
answers.
watching
Again, it's
Wayne
almost
race,
like I don't have
listening to Uncle
be
Bobby, and chatting with Carrie Ann.
Presuppositional apologetics is just sitting on some bullshit. But what really gets my goat gang about fucking Jeff Durbin, did I say we're doing a show on Jeff Durbin? If not, Uncle Bobby, go fuck yourself. What really gets me going about Jeff Durbin, he's a fellow black belt.
All right, Carrie Ann,
Like
grab that
as
coffee.
in one that in the martial arts world, it's called a paper tiger. In other words, you just kept writing checks and that was the standard. You gave them enough money to where now they're going to give you a black belt. Congratulations. No, he bled for it. Apparently he suffered for it. He's a legit black belt in combat style Taekwondo. And he's also a self-defense teacher. Now, gang, listening to the stories of the people who come to your classes, if that does not transform your life, you've got
Wayne,
no
this is
heart,
it,
got no
huh?
soul. You're a fucking
LeBron
cyborg
right back
flesh
to
on
the
outside of
fucking
it.
Warriors, man. All of this is very
Those
interesting.
stories are I'm about to.
They wrote this man off.
No, maybe.
This man said, "This is my year."
They transform your life. They do.
On
You
cue,
only
I
think
need
that
a
the
highlight,
movies
LeBron.
is bad.
Yeah,
Son,
that's
you got no
kind of a.
idea.
Yep.
You have no idea how fucked the world is. You got these people telling you stories so gross you think they're making it up, but they're not. Those stories they should absolutely transform your life. Jeff Durbin takes those stories and he wipes his dirty booty hole with it. He uses those experiences as a chess piece in a very perverted board game.
They're always telling me
Right, I hear those
Yahweh
stories,
is
and my only
beyond
mission is to
sex
protect
and
those ladies'
all this
privacy
shit, but was apparently
and
assigned
respect
male at
their
birth.
experience. What I don't do is turn around, put that thing on the table, let the story on the table like it's the goddamn high joker in a game of spades.
Joshua Bowen
That's
says
what
he
Jeff
saw.
Durbin does.
No, I actually
And that's
Skip Davis
absolutely
said
unacceptable.
he's
Absolutely
he knows
disgusting.
for a
And
certain
if a
fact
police
that
officer
God
sitting
has a
here
dick.
right now, you know the only thing that they would have heard
His
me say?
loin
They
filled
would
the
have heard me say
fucking
word
sky and all of this
Right?
type
And-
of shit.
and keep
Yeah,
in
it's all
mind,
it's very
This-
erotic.
all
It's
this
like
bullshit,
Kyle
all of this
massive
bullshit is
massive
to
type
prove to
shit.
you that a God exists. So let me ask you something there, atheist. Are you ready to sign up? Are you convinced? All they have is a word game, right? Now, before we roll this fucked up ass clip game, I remember that last show I did. I think it was called "You Can't Refute."
Also,
Atheism.
Stephanie, I was a child. Why did they
And
let
Durbin
Why did they
goes
let
to
them name
Ireland.
that 7 foot tall
I would say talking
man
to
named
this
Randy
lady,
Johnson, the
but he
big
knew what
unit?
precepts do,
That still
and that's just
traumatizes
pushing
me.
her through a fucking flowchart, right? In order to win,
I was a kid. I didn't understand. Now that I understand, that's fucked up.
Jeff Durbin threw punches. In his words, for the individual who kidnaps, rapes, and mutilates a child,
size of a baby's arm.
In order to prove that his God exists,
Oh my goodness.
he wanted that lady to consider the feelings of a criminal. Gang, let me tell you something. If you are ever making a point, and your point demands that you make us
what happened?
consider for half a second the
Oh, there you
feelings
go.
I
of
fucked
the
up
worst
the wrong
this world
screen.
has got to offer, fuck you and your point. Your point blows. Because she was like saying exactly what I say, and everyone who just uses common sense in this area. And that is, who gives a shit? Right? Because they're like, well, I've got an intellectual foundation of the philosophical flavonoidal processes, for which I can call it wrong.
Objective
And she was
basis
like,
for
who
morality.
cares? Seriously, who cares? It still happened. What's that sound? Now I'm making shit up. Back on topic. She's absolutely right. Whether Jeff Durbin has a superior word game or not, that crime still happened. Whether the Christian God exists or not, the crime still happened. All that matters, gang, is the bottom line. Period. End of fucking story. But in order to prove his point, what did Jeff Durbin do? Well, what about, again, he was like, well, it was a good time. It was a high time for the rapists. I mean, what seems to be the problem? That's how addicted they are to their fucking script. Now, okay, let's go ahead and Autobots transform it. Okay, you guys see that bullshit? Yeah, we're gonna blow up the screen.
Oh
now,
God, the Uncle Bobbyisms are so
the reason
good.
why today's title is Christians Just
They are
Don't
good.
Learn, because again, gang, this has been talked about before, right? Look at this fucked up ass title. The failure of atheist morality. Again, Christians, you aren't even trying to hide how dishonest you are. This is not a difficult topic. We're not studying for
Traveling.
No one's asking you to split the atom, right? You don't have to take 2 years worth of descriptive math in an afternoon and then take a test over the comprehension.
Yeah, that's
topic.
traveling.
It's quite simply put, the definition of atheism. What is it, gang? You say there's a God, I say I don't believe it. You say there's a God, I say prove it. What's your response? What do you mean by that? Pizza can get sleepy. If there is no God, what's wrong with the slave trade? You know what I say? 1, fuck you. 2, I still don't believe you. That's all atheism is. It is quite simply put, that was disgusting. It's quite simply put, a single response to a single claim. Everything else is everything else. So when you start off with the bullshit, the failure of atheist morality, there's nowhere to go from there. Again, you have a foundation for a house that is built on sand, and a hurricane is a-coming, right? There's no, all right, let's have a conversation. The failure of elbow morality. Did that make any sense to y'all? Good, it shouldn't have. You want to know why? Because my elbow does not speak to morality. All my atheism does, it answers a single question. But no, he can't get down with that, gang. You want to know why? He's got a fucking script. Okay, let's go ahead and roll this fucked up ass tape. And I want you guys to be prepared, because I'm not. I've got no idea what the fuck this sucker's gonna say. I don't watch his debates because there's no debate to have. But when you sit here scrolling through YouTube at 1:30 in the morning and you see the title, you're like, you know what? After my 9th cup of coffee and I kind of knock off the cobwebs, let's rant about it with the peeps. You guys ready? Let's roll the tape.
He says there's no ultimate foundation for ethics given your worldview.
Yes.
No ultimate meaning in life, no free will for humans either. You say that it needs to be meaningful to us. It's at least meaningful to us. Was it meaningful to the Green River Killer, Gary Ridgway? Was his...
Pause the tape. What the fuck did I just say, gang? What the fuck did I just say? In order to prove his point, in order to prove that his God exists, we now have to take into consideration the feelings of whoever this Gary fuckface is. I don't care what he feels. I don't. I know he's an asshole, and apparently he did some real fucked up shit. I think that should be the end of the discussion. Why I have to take in consideration of a serial killer, I've got no idea. Christians, you make me sick. Hold this fucked up ass tape.
Determination of what was meaningful for him, just as valuable or meaningful as your perspective if he was wrong?
Meaningful is different than defensible. I work with murderers and pedophiles.
That's incoherent. Meaningful is different than defensible. He's saying that, no, I think that it's indefensible what they've done, but in order for it to be indefensible, there has to be some standard that you can measure indefensible.
Pause the tape. There we go again. Look at his fucked up ass face, King. Look at his face. I mean, shut the fuck up, Durbin. There has to be some standard. Again, what does DD teach us, gang? Let's go to the church of motherfucking DD. By whose standard? The victim's standard. And as far as I'm concerned, that should be the end of the story. But again, so addicted to being right, so addicted to being the last person standing during a debate, this is what we're talking about, right? To prove his God exists, we have to take into consideration the feelings of whoever this Gary fuckface is. Look at his face, roll the tape.
Defensible. So if you say there's no meaning, then there's also no way to say something is indefensible. Because if something is defendable, then there's a standard of meaning that we're all wrapping our hands around to say, no, this is what's meaningful, so what you're doing is indefensible. So what he's saying is just what? It's just
notice how we're all wrapping our heads around that standard, apparently, but we're not all Christians.
What he's doing,
I never mentioned that.
How he
pause the tape. Again, what do I say to that? Right? He doesn't have a worldview. You know what this is like, gang? Me and Peter talked to some dude. I can't remember.
The philosophy bros.
On, gonna go for his channel. And the standard issue Christian bullshit. Right? Well, you don't have a workable worldview to say that rape is bad, that murder is bad, and for about 5 minutes he just kept going. I'm like, my dude, let me ask you a fucking question. What's my worldview? You know what he said? Atheism. I was like, you're not even fucking close. You're not even fucking close. This is what happens. Again, there's no discussion with these people. There's no debating these people. They've got a script. Again, this is not a difficult topic. If Jeff Durbin was 10 years old and sitting in someone's 5th grade class, that teacher would have reported that kid. We need to investigate. I think there are some special needs that are not being recognized here.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that to be funny. If in the 5th grade
low
you can't
IQ stuff,
solidly grasp the
unfortunately.
concept that 2 + 2 = 4, you're going to get held back. You're going to be put in a different class that learns at a different pace and style. The definition of atheism is not complicated. Not at all. So when you sit here and you say he doesn't have a workable worldview, he's saying that for one reason and one reason only, gang. I can all but guarantee he has not. He has not asked this man, what is your worldview? He's asserting that it's atheism. Now he's arguing against something that I guarantee you this man didn't say. Roll the tape.
He lives his life and how he thinks others should live their lives as well. So this is just the wheels falling off. This is just somebody hanging themselves. And I mean that with all due respect to the man, but we have to expose the foolish.
Pause the tape. He does that all the time, gang. I say this with respect. I love you. I love you. I love you. No, you don't. Right? That's like if I'm sitting here across the day for my girlfriend. I love you. Smack. I love you. Smack. I love you. Smack. What you do speaks so loud, I cannot hear what you say. I don't get to say I love my girlfriend after hitting her for the 19th time that minute. Jeff Durbin sits there.
We are getting more work in with
this
setup in this car.
He talks to, but I mean this with all the love and respect in the world. I mean, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. You don't know what you're talking about. You're all kinds of fucked up, and you're gonna burn and go to hell. I say that with respect. The problem is, Durbin doesn't. How about this? We don't agree on the definition of the word respect. Because if you respected me, you would listen to what I have to say, then actually respond to that. Instead,
Exactly.
Jeff Durbin would be better served if he just sat there and talked to this fucking ring light.
Of unbelief, take down every argument that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and that's what we're doing. That's an incoherent thing to say.
All the time, I have a least favorite pedophile.
Are they wrong?
He's very annoying. Yes, they are absolutely wrong. Or they are technically intersubjectively wrong.
So they're not absolutely.
No, because it's all a conversation.
So the debate's over, friends.
Pause the tape. That right there. That's what I'm talking about. When I say, when you debate the presuppositional apologetics, you lost before it begun. That's what he was waiting for. The word absolute. That's it. That's all they wait for, right? Is it absolutely wrong? This man just said, no, it's not. Look at his face. Look at the smile on his face. That's all he was waiting for. But this is why it is, gang. Again, I don't do these debates. And I can 5,000% guarantee you will never see a debate on Gin and Truth on motherfucking YouTube. Because I know I'm right and I'm not going to waste my time. All these fuckfaces care about is what comes out of someone's mouth. Did you guys hear what the dude over here said about the belt? I just belt back in profession. He said he worked with murderers and pedophiles. Maybe he's a prison counselor or some shit like that. Christians on Durbin's tip, and I shouldn't be shocked because their system of acceptance with it's got nothing to do with what you do. It's all about what you say and what you believe. So for them, the victory is what comes out of your mouth. For this dude right here, and for this guy, the big guy on the mic, it's about what did I do? This guy works with murders and pedophiles. You just hear him say that? All Jeff Durbin wants to hear someone say is absolutely. Now again, God damn it, in Uncle Bobby world, there are two working definitions of the word absolute, or absolutely. Absolutely. The first one, a standard by which there is no comparison, right? Michael Jordan is absolutely the best basketball player to ever lace up high tops. How do you know that, big guy? You ever notice how the next great one is always the next Michael Jordan? He is the standard by which there is no comparison. Then the second one, which is kind of what we all use, is just an emphatic hell yeah. Hey, big guy, we're going to go grab some burgers after work. You want to come? Absolutely. Right? Durbin is stuck on definition number one, while most people use it as definition number two, right? All he cares about, all Durbin cares about is winning a word game, right? Again, the ladies that I work with, not a single one of them has ever been brought comfort. You know what happened to me? And then she'll sit there for 10 minutes and explain a story so fucking wretched. I don't know whether they're going to puke, cry, or both. But at the end of that story, it's like, oh God, Susie, that was all kinds of fucked up. And I'm going to tell you what. Jeff Durbin says that I was absolutely wrong. Oh, thank you, Robert. Oh, that's why I just paid to your feet. Oh, please stop sending it out. I feel so much better. Fuck the gang rape at the hands of my cousins. Ooh, it's absolutely wrong. No, they don't care. Again, they don't care, so I don't care. I don't know what this man's name is over here. Let's just call him Jim. I promise you, Jim doesn't care. But look at Durbin smiling because he won the word game. Well, again, congratulations, Christians. Again, I'll give you all the space to do that. Way the fuck over there.
Over there with your scary ass.
They are intersubjectively wrong.
So you admit, Mr. Anderson, that they are not absolutely wrong. The Green River Killer is not absolutely wrong. Ted Bundy is not absolutely wrong. Child rapists are not absolutely wrong. And you came to debate that your worldview provides a foundation.
Pause the tape. They're wrong. Period in the story. Durbin is literally throwing punches for the worst that this world has to offer. They're wrong. Whatever qualifier you hang before the word, after the word, I don't care what you call it. It was fucked up. And by whose absolute standard? Tell them, Dee Dee, the victim's standard. And if that's not good enough for you, one, fuck you, two, get off my goddamn channel. Roll the tape.
Ethics?
Yes, the humanist perspective does provide a foundation for ethics. Because again,
pause the tape.
rape
Pause the
is
tape.
wrong.
Did you guys hear that? Okay. Mr.
Hey guys, I'm gonna.
Anderson, we're gonna call it
I'll have a good one.
Neo just
Good night,
said
good night.
he was a humanist game.
Good night.
Neo just said he was a humanist. That is his worldview. What did Durbin dishonestly put up here? The atheist morality. Instead of putting his actual worldview in the title, in order to perpetuate this bullshit, this foolishness, what did he just do? Neo just said, I'm a humanist. Now he's trying to explain, roll the tape, fuck that.
Wrong. Murder is wrong. According to the cultural conversation that we are all of which a part.
So if a society draws a circle around themselves and says that you can kill and cannibalize other human beings, as long as they're a large enough society that draws a circle around themselves and they determine that it's right to eat other humans?
Some cultures have believed that, yes, and they are part of the conversation.
They're part of it. It's fascinating to watch them try to hold these things together.
You know what? Pause the tape. He's right. Neo's right. It's a part of the conversation. He's a humanist. And gang, he is meeting reality on reality's terms. Neo is right. There are people who eat other people. We've got a label for that. It's called cannibals. There are people who murder other people. There are people who rape other people. There are people who steal from other people. Neo's absolutely right because he's dealing with reality. They are part of the conversation, right? I was not a fan of what my ex-wife did to me, gang. Not at all. But she's not alone. Other people do that. It's a part of the conversation, right? Shut the fuck up. And again, the smug look on his face and we said
Damn, I fucked around, thought I was in third. All right, we're doing better. Oh, why did I? Sorry, I didn't mean to punch it together. But we got to get to fourth.
And again, Christians, all your prayers don't do a goddamn thing. You notice that? Again, it's almost like your God doesn't exist. And this is when you guys want to throw in
Sorry,
all
Karen,
your
I'm
excuses.
checking in.
It's a fallen world. What about free will, the blase, and the Glavinoids? And I'm going to tell you, go talk about that bullshit somewhere.
Yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. One more position to get this done. We got to get third.
You're lying. It doesn't affect the bottom line. And the bottom line is, yeah, cannibals exist, and they're a part of the conversation. Roll the tape.
Some people believe that, and they are part of the conversation. There you go. That's unbelief right there,
take another,
right before your eyes and ears.
Pause the tape. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Take hits from the bone.
He's a
God, this
humanist.
game looks so beautiful too.
And something tells me he's got more education on this topic than you do, Durbin. He's right. It is a part of the conversation. You, sir, you are sitting there, and again, well, what about the feelings of the murderer and the rapist? It was a high time for that motherfucker. Again, if you ever find yourself defending the worst that the world has to offer, you are a horrible human. Roll the tape.
That's what you have.
But there's a collision just a few moments before, in that he says that these things are unacceptable.
Right.
Morally.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Indefensible.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
indefensible.
Because the cultural conversation has decided that they're indefensible.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, what happens when you have a group of people that they accept that kind of behavior?
Pause the tape. We have an example of that. It's called 1940s Nazi Germany. We did have a portion of the society, of the world, of the conversation, who thought it was a high time and a grand idea to exterminate our Jewish family members. They did a bang-up job at it. Then the world came together and was like, this is all kinds of fucked up. So you know what we did? We eliminated Adolf Hitler's monkey ass from the fucking conversation. All the prayer in the universe did nothing to stop the Holocaust from happening. Those concentration camps, I've been to them, 2 of them. And I'm gonna tell you, gang, all kinds of fucked up. I don't believe in ghosts and ghouls and goblins and spirits, but the ghost and the fucking spirits of all those Jews were sitting right there. I felt fucking filthy. I did. I can't describe that feeling. And all the prayers in the world did nothing to fucking stop it. Right? The man, Neo, he is sitting there dealing with reality on reality's terms. Unlike these fucking presuppositional fuckfaces. Roll the tape.
Currently happening, it's happening today.
Which it is, yes, it's currently transpiring, and now the objection's gone.
So you have you have no objection with the tribes today that still practice killing and cannibalizing other human beings.
Some people
pause the tape. He didn't listen to a word that man had to say. He said he did have a problem. He did say it was wrong. He's not playing along with your fucking script, but he absolutely said that. And yes, I said the word fucking absolutely. This man is a well-paid liar. Again, I told you, if you get paid 1 red cent pushing this Christianity nonsense, you are part of fucking prosperity gospel. This is lying. This is fucking dishonest.
Will do that. Some people, they'll wait till somebody dies to do it, but I'm not even talking about them. I'm talking about the tribes that actually punish people by killing and eating them. And according to Mr. Anderson's perspective, they're part of the conversation.
They are.
And, some people do that.
You know what? Pause the tape. Your refusal to accept reality doesn't mean reality does not exist. But we're talking about a fuckface who actually thinks that a virgin got pregnant. Neo's right. These things happen, and they are part of the conversation. The only difference between Durbin and Neo is that Neo is addressing reality. Durbin just wants to win a debate, and in his mind he did, because he got Neo to say the word absolute. That's literally the end of the discussion. Durbin's going to sit there and jerk off all over himself that he was able to pull his verbal okey-doke on somebody. And then, you know what's going to happen the next day? Neo's going to get up in the morning, wash his ass, go to work, and try to solve the problem. Durbin gets up the next day and breaks down the game tape and say, I own the live epic style. There's just two different goals here. And both are meeting their goals, right? Neo came to the debate. He's going to go to work tomorrow and try to make the world a better place. Durbin did a debate. Now he's going to go and sit and talk with whoever's in this fucking studio and jerk off all over himself. I made a live say the word absolute. Hold the tape.
And, could be right in that perspective. Just as long as you get enough people to agree with you, and as long as the conversation tends toward that direction, and there's ultimately enough people that are on that side of the conversation, then it's okay to kill and cannibalize other human beings.
I was just gonna say,
no one said that.
Saying
I was pushing it at that time because you gotta like push it. This is, you
No,
gotta go.
no,
It's racing.
fuck nuts, no. It's the answer. He's addressing reality. Hold on, I'm about to belch. Just fuckface.
Oh, shit,
I just
damn,
felt
shit,
hashtag
problem.
unprofessional. That's not a non-answer. It's the real deal. Yes, cannibals are part of the fucking conversation. Because your prayer doesn't stop it. And so now we have to talk about cannibalism.
Also, with people when they did these setups that they posted some of the
whenever you press them on
in-game settings that they
is there
used, like their
Yeah.
as well as part of them?
It's like,
torque
okay, well,
balance
let's
and
talk
stuff.
about it.
That's
like the stuff that you
all
control in the race.
Let's talk about it and let's do something fucking about it. Unlike you fucknuts, all you do is sit here and jerk off over a word game. Cannibalism still happens. Murder still happens. Rape, it's almost like your God doesn't exist. You're right. But they're dismissing it. Oh, we just want to talk about it. No. Let's map out a plan of attack, then let's attack that plan. You fucknuts, dear God, let's end racism, let's end all crime, let's end rape and murder. Well, that shit didn't work.
I'll just compare some more. Oh, maybe in person too.
You can
You
either
know.
talk about it or you can be about it. Precepts, you just want to talk about it. Roll the tape.
Tame the notion that it's okay to do this, as long as you feel included.
Yeah, that's academy speak.
Yeah,
is what that is, right? So I don't have an answer, but let's make it sound sophisticated and there you go.
No, it's fucking easy, dude.
Given what you just said, why ought we to love
The
our
fucking
neighbors?
projection of these guys.
You say the same shit
Because that
every
is what
time.
they prefer. And that is part of the cultural conversation.
Stop. Rewind that.
Conversation. And yes, because that is what they prefer. 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 That is what they prefer.
I never expect the car to like turn. Maybe I'm hitting the wall that
That is
hard,
what they prefer. The victims.
but I'm never ready for
not
that
to be
spin
raped,
there.
cannibalized, beaten up, murdered, stolen from, treated badly, dehumanized, disrespected. That should be
low gear
the end of the conversation. That is what they prefer. Your philosophical word games do nothing to help the bottom line. And when someone violates someone else's preference, the victim does not feel better at all that you have a word game. You selfish sack of shit. That's presupposition.
Yep. Let's go.
It's right there. They don't care about reality. They care about winning their word game. Roll the tape. One have a stroke.
And that is part of the cultural conversation.
He's
and
right.
yes, all of these groups should be part of the conversation. And I think we should be horrified by what Mao and Stalin and Pol Pot have
You've
done.
already admitted, Mr. Anderson, there's no absolute above Mao.
Because he doesn't care. He doesn't care about your bullshit.
Yes.
Why should we be horrified when there is no absolute standard to hold them to? We've already agreed that if they decide as a culture and community that what they did was right, morally right, then they're right in your system. And there's
Nope. Because the victims would not agree.
Boom, there it is.
Go fuck
the victims you
agree. And the victims also have a say.
The victims you believe are descendants of bacteria.
Not agree. And the victim
persistent. And there's
nope. Because the victims would not agree.
Persistent. And there's
Nope. Because the victims would not agree.
Say it again.
Persistent. And there's
Nope. Because the victims would not agree.
Again.
Persistent. And there's
Nope. Because the victims would not agree.
Again.
Persistent.
And nope. Because the victims would not agree.
That's it. That's the whole ball game. Because the victims would not agree. That is it. Go stick your nose in whatever fucked up ass philosophy book and fucking, I don't care. More importantly, the victims don't care. And what Neo said, that's the end of the conversation as far as I'm concerned. Because the victims would not agree. You would think that should be the end of the story. I hate to make this personal, almost. If something happened badly to a member of Durbin's family, he would not do this. He would not do this. Thor forbid something happened bad to one of his sons or daughters. He would act like an actual father. I promise you that. What's that kid? Oh man, that sit on dad's lap. What happened? No, that was all kinds of fucked up, but yeah. Was it absolutely wrong? Was it absolutely wrong what your fifth grade teacher did to you? No, $10 says he'd be just like me. He'd sit his wife down and be like, look, you know where the money is? I gotta go be a dad. I'll see you. Right? It's like fuckface Frank Turk, right? They say all the time there is no truth. So is that true? Then that fucked up ass example, right? Call your bank and say you want $100 million when there's only $100 in your account. It's like, no, fuck nuts, you try it. No one else thinks like this, right? You try to pull the okie doke over your bank, over the IRS. You will be blamed by reality's rule one way or the fuck another. That's what this is, game. I promise you, this is a word game that is only used in a debate. In all other aspects of life, they deal with reality as it comes, or at least they should. But what Neo said, bam, that's what Didi says. Gang, if the opinion of the victim is not good enough for you, you are either a presuppositional apologetic fuckface, you are a criminal, or you are both. That right there should have ended the conversation. Roll the tape.
And the victims also have a say.
Exactly.
The victims, you believe, are descendants of bacteria.
Oh.
Yep.
Pause the tape. Neo, you're killing it, my dude. Yeah, we are descendants of bacteria, and we have placed a certain value on these descendants of bacteria. And no, Christians, you don't have to follow the rules. You don't. But you also have no moral high ground to talk, right? We can prove that we are descendants of bacteria, apes, however the fuck the flavonoidal processes work. What we don't have scientific proof for is some invisible fuckface, your timeless, spaceless, immaterial, disembodied mind, that he came down, scooped up some dirt, like, I'm gonna tell you what, I'm just in here tired of looking at fucking nothing, so what I'm gonna do here is take this fucking dirt, right? Okay, let's do that shit out. Okay, we got that. All right, we good to go. Let's throw in an appendix because that's fucking useless. Okay. Man,
That's throwing.
I'm perfect. I'm gone. You guys
throwing an
sit here and you're
appendix.
like, who cares about bacteria, motherfucker? Who cares about dirt? The difference between Neo and Durbin is that Neo is talking about reality. That smart ass smirk on Neo's face is because he's got reality on his side. So you believe we come from bacteria? Yes. It's not a belief. We can prove it. Roll the tape.
So the debate was over. That was the first, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 minutes of cross-examination out of 20, and the debate's over. He admits that there's no ultimate, no absolute,
because no one gives a shit, Durbin. No
coherent
one cares.
appeal
Shut
to
the
ethics
fuck
from
up.
his perspective and in his
that's not
system. He
true.
admits that human
That's
beings
not
are
fucking
the
true.
descendants of bacteria,
That's because we
and
are.
so there's no
Your
meaning,
fucking
there's no
problem
purpose,
is
there's no
there's
ultimate
lots of
ethics,
purpose.
there's no absolute
We put
ethics,
purpose
and
on
yet
what
he's
we
coming to
believe be fucking important. And no, you don't have to agree with the method. You don't have to agree if I'm important or not.
All right, we're gonna get this done.
All your fucking
Don't worry,
board
gang.
games, they do nothing to address reality. No, Durbin, you don't have to think that I'm worth the next 5 minutes. You may think that it's a good idea to attack me, but I'm going to defend myself. Your philosophical mumbo jumbo, the bullshit and flavonoidal fuckfaces does not address reality. We have to talk about the fucked up portions of our society. You want to know why? They exist. You're so worried about labels, this conversation, you don't do anything about it. And when you do something, you disrespect what you do. What self-defense teacher worth their fucking soul takes the stories of the people that they teach and then use them as a word game? That's no different than me making jokes about rape. You're not funny. You're supposed to take those experiences and protect them and respect them. Not a single person that he's ever taught that has been raped, been beaten up, has ever been made comforted with this word game. He's got no foundation for ethics. Right now, someone just got raped. And they don't give a shit. Hold it
to a public debate to argue that that perspective gives you a grounding for ethics. The debate was over. Their perspective is essentially Jeremy Bentham.
Because you don't debate. You read a script. You disrespect the person who sits across from you. Your title says it all. The failure of atheist morality. That man told your monkey ass that his worldview is humanism. But you didn't hear a word he had to say because you never do. Roll the tape.
Utilitarianism, a version of it. And so utilitarianism says you should work for the greatest happiness of the greatest number of people. Jared expanded that in the debate to say you need to work for the greatest well-being and greatest pleasure in the most people. But he seems to not understand the deficiency in his perspective, that he's just claiming that, but hasn't justified it. And it goes to the question of preference as well. So you could say, here it is, ready?
What?
Human beings like well-being. Okay? Grant that as a fact. Okay, grant as a fact. It's not disputed. Human beings like well-being. Next fact. Human beings like pleasure. They like happiness.
Yeah.
Okay, so grant it as a fact. here's another fact. Grant this is a fact. What is the case is that human beings prefer not to be victimized. They prefer not to be hurt. So grant those as 3 facts that we can all agree with on common ground, that it is the case that human beings like all these things. Okay. From a philosophical perspective, just because something is the case.
Who cares? I don't care anymore. I do not care. I do not care. I do not care. Like, look at his fucked up ass face, King. Look at his face. That hole right there underneath his fucking nostrils, that hole right there does nothing but spew bullshit, nonsense, and some motherfucking
God damn it.
Who gives a shit? Again, I learned the hard way that there's a difference between proving your point and philosophically defending a position. I don't care if you can philosophically defend shit. The first 3 things that he said, I've got no problem with, and as far as I'm concerned, that's the end of the conversation. But if you want to go down this philosophical road, knock yourself out. I think you're wasting your fucking time. I do.
Holy crud.
The philosophical, why shouldn't you hurt somebody?
I was doing so
Because they don't want to be hurt. Bam! That's it.
Getting
I don't
knocked
care
around.
about should. You can't get an ought from an is. I don't care.
There we go.
That does not affect the bottom line at all. Roll the tape. Or not.
I like that downshift there.
Doesn't mean that it ought to be the case. So you can say, as Jared does here to try to help himself, that the victims prefer that you don't do that, okay? That doesn't prove anything. You haven't justified anything ethically by saying it is the case that human beings prefer not to get hurt. Okay? That means nothing. Because this is a question about...
All right, did you put it in the chat?
Hit the rewind on
I'll
that
look at it.
Listen to what he said.
Because this is a question about warrant and justification for ethics. It means nothing. Because this is a question... It means nothing. Because this is a question about human beings prefer not to get hurt. Okay? That means nothing. Because this is a question about warrant and...
Pause the tape. That means nothing. You just heard him say it. All the stories that it means nothing, right, Durbin? It means nothing. All the stories that I've heard means nothing. I've been in a police station during a rape exam. That means nothing. The victims of mass shootings, the pain their families feel, that means nothing. Not to Jeff Durbin, it doesn't. You want to know why? Because all he wants to do is play a fucking game with words, and it does not affect the bottom line 1 ounce.
Hang on, let me put in my browser.
Look at his face, gang. Look at his fucked up ass face. As he sits there, it means nothing. How do you say that and then go teach a self-defense seminar right after? This is one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard. I bullshit you not. This red-bearded fuckface just said it means nothing. All because he's addicted to being right.
Justification for ethics. It is the case they don't like to get hurt. That's fine. It doesn't mean that it ought to be the case that I don't hurt them. Right? Do you get the point?
Pause the tape. I do get the point. You're a fucking asshole. That's the point. By the victim standard, that should be good enough. You disrespect.
You can't get an ought.
What did I just say?
Like that from that kind of is. It is the case that they like these things. That's great. Granted as a fact. It doesn't mean that you get an ought from it. We're talking about oughts here. Then has to.
But again, pause the tape, gang. We're about to hit this fucking tape. We're not having the same discussion. That's why I'm getting mad. Again, people like this, they are very happy with winning a debate. Bashaw, congratulations. You've got a superior word game. Now watch me go do my fucking job. Because that's what I care about. I don't care about ought from is. I don't care about objective. I don't care about absolute or absolutely. I'm gonna go do my job in the next couple of hours. That's what me and Neo are going to do. While these 3 slapnuts sit in the studio and pray, because that totally affects the bottom line. And they celebrate this meaningless victory, because that's what it is, gang. Meaningless. They can say something is absolutely wrong. Congratulations. Now again, sit your monkey ass down and watch me do my job. The people that are victims of crimes, they don't care. They don't care. And Neo said it. Dee Dee said it. The victim's preference. That should be enough. But for these idiots, it's not. Roll the tape.
It has to bring in questions of something that is transcendent, as you just said, something that is ultimate, beyond them, above them, cosmic justice, the character of God, the justice of God, the judgment of God, all those sorts of things.
This fucker just said cosmic justice. Did this fuckface just invoke magic while we're talking about this? Are you fucking kidding me? Cosmic there is no cosmic justice. Because that Gary fuckface, the Greenville killer that he talked about 8 minutes ago, as long as he finds Christ, there's no cosmic justice for him. None at all. He gets to party in heaven. If one of his victims died a Muslim, a Hindu, an atheist, an agnostic, anything other than Durbin's approved form of Christianity, they're fucked, son. So stop talking like you got the moral high ground here. You don't. Cosmic justice. Again, Neo is addressing reality. This fuckface literally just said the phrase cosmic justice. I don't even know where you go from here.
God damn it.
Of things, because you can't just say human beings like well-being and so we should work for their well-being. Because guess what? There's a lot of people today in prisons that we put behind cages that didn't believe that.
Right.
And they still don't.
Right.
And
pause the tape, and you don't do shit about it. I've got a moral foundation for moral absolutes and laws ain't
that cosmic justice. Yeah,
it does not affect the bottom line at all. It does not bring the victims or the survivors.
I gotta be way more conservative on them.
The least amount of comfort. Not at all. He's right. He's right.
I do wish I had fucking.
But he won't do anything about it except cut these fucked up ass
VR.
All the tape.
We keep them there, at least from the world's perspective, to not release them around other people, so they continue perpetrating their desire to harm other human beings.
Pause the tape. He did it again. What about the feelings of the criminals? I don't care. I don't care. Right? And he said it in that video that I did a couple days ago. Let's say someone kidnaps, rapes, and mutilates a child, and it was the way he said it. Is that wrong? Yeah. Then of course, he took that lady down the mumbo jumbo bullshit ass road. Yeah.
Get around.
I mean, like it or not, it's a fall to harm other human beings. I mean, like it or not, it's a fallen world.
What did I say 40 minutes ago? One, I don't give a fuck about that's what I was gonna say. Back on
There we go.
Right? Kidnaps, rapes, and mutilates. Well, it was a good time for him. I don't care if it was a good time for him. I fucking hate his guts. And I hope the police find him before someone else does, who's got a little bit stronger sense of justice and don't feel the need to follow a rule book. You two don't fucking flag me. It's not me I'm talking about. Why do I care about the feelings of the worst that this society has to offer? But you guys hear what he just said? I said that at the beginning of this show. All they have is excuses. It's a fallen world. What about free will? Excuses. And none of those excuses affect the bottom line. Roll the tape.
There are lots of people that actually get a lot of pleasure out of harming other human beings. They love it. People that actually get a lot of pleasure. Like it or not, it's a fallen world. There are lots of people that actually get a lot of pleasure out of harming other human beings.
Pause the tape. Are you guys as disgusted as I am? There are a lot of people who derive a lot of pleasure. If your stance makes you defend the position of a criminal, like the ones he's describing, fuck it. That's why you'll never see a debate on this channel. I'm not going to soil my channel. I'm not going to waste y'all's time. More importantly, I'm not going to waste my time debating someone who, in order for me to have this conversation with them, I have to take into consideration the feelings of an asshole. I don't care about the feelings of the asshole. I don't. And no, I'm not going to take it into consideration. Let's wrap this up. Go on the table.
apps. They love it. They like it. And according to Jared, they're part of the conversation.
Well, look at his fucked up ass. That's transfer. Look at his fucked up ass. Again, his refusal, Jeff Durbin's refusal to accept reality on reality's terms is why he sounds the way he sounds. It's just part of the conversation. I just spelled hashtag unprofessional. That sarcastic tone you put at the end of that statement doesn't make Neo's argument any less valid, because he's right. Criminality is a part of the conversation. So let's have it. Again, make a plan of attack, then you attack the plan. Period in the story. No, but what you'd rather do is sit there and fucking play word games and shut the fuck up. Gang, Uncle Bobby's only giving you one big motherfucker. So as a result, Uncle Bobby's giving you one big motherfucking solution. Jeff Durbin, shut the fuck up. You disgusting sack of shit. Again, in order, again, all this, gang, get this fucker off my goddamn screen. All of this, gang, all of this, so that he can prove to you something that he claims that you already know, and that is God exists. Let me ask you something there, fuckfaces. Are you convinced yet? You ready to sign on the line that is not it? You ready to go evangelize and tell potential rape victims? I know what happened to you was painful. I know it's uncomfortable, but there is no God. Oh. Again, the victim's preference, their opinion, the surviving family members' opinion, that should be good enough. But Durbin and the like, they're so addicted to being correct that in order to prove their point, they have to have you consider the feelings of the criminal. My stance on this will never change, gang. I'm not taking into consideration their feelings. Mainly because I don't give a shit. I don't care what you fucking feel, you murdering sack of shit. I don't care. All I know is that we now have to eliminate you from society. Put your monkey ass behind bars, bam, and work to lessen the occurrence of that behavior in our society. See, because Neo's gonna go to work the next day and do his job. While Durbin and the like, they sit in a room and they do exactly that. And that's not a fucking thing. Okay? I just want to make sure before we wrap this up that you guys realize that regardless whatever point you're trying to make, if your point includes me or anyone else having to take in consideration the feelings of a murderer, of a rapist, of an Adolf Hitler, of a Mao Zedong, if your point is like, well, what about them? I mean, have we thought about how they... Fuck you. You and your point blow. And you are not worthy of actual conversation. Jeff Durbin is fucking disgusting. That word game does not bring comfort to any victim. Therefore, I give it no respect. Kang, the big guy's held you long enough. He's signing the fuck off. Gin and Truth, let's go.
God damn it. I didn't realize I was at the finish. I got fourth again.
Jeff Durbin blows.
I love those little comebacks he does. I don't know. Let's rock with it.
Hey everybody, just a quick trigger warning before we get started here. There is some mention of assault as well as racism and gross things like that. So I just wanted to let you know before
Gross.
we get started. Award show season is over, right? Like, I feel like it must be over now, right? Awards for the arts is kind of a weird thing to me. It's like, hey, here's a statue for making me cry the best out of all the things that made me cry. I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm an artist too. We're sensitive souls. So they make us feel good by giving us little prizes. And it's nice.
And the winner, believe it or not.
Whoa, we did it.
We won.
What? But the Oscars in particular are famous for making sure it's white people that get those little prizes. This year, though, at the Oscars, a movie with a cast that was mostly not white people won a lot of the Oscars, which was pretty cool. But when it comes to race and the Oscars, there is a very specific type of movie they love giving awards to. It's movies about racism, but made by white people.
And the Oscar goes to...
Hang on a sec. Hang on. Carrie Ann said there was another Uncle Bobby today. Oh yeah, this is the other one we didn't finish. This is our entry.
And he made $5 million doing it. What do I make? $0 and zeros to give the money to the Catholic Church. So they can do what? Pay off another sex crime victim. Please go fuck yourself. We're not having the same discussion. But Mount Walsh, gang, please go fuck yourself. Gang, let's look up on the people's iPhone of knowledge.
iPhone of knowledge.
Matt Walsh, net worth. Now, gang, it's on the internet, so it has to be true. $5 million. Please go fuck yourself. Looking right at it. Again, let's say they overshot that.
I do like this tuning. I think this can get it done for sure.
$2 million.
And it's so fun to have my GTR out here doing rally.
What is a woman? Define a woman without using the word woman.
It's definitely one of my
if you have a dick, you
favorite
can't be a
cars.
woman. What are you trying to fucking support your transgender faggot kid?
As is the one in front of me, that Toyota
That's
86. Come on.
What
come
is
on,
a
come on,
woman?
come on.
And he made $5 million. What do I make? $0.00. I'm telling y'all, respect our trans family members. I'm telling you, the demons are the fuckfaces wearing habits that go to church, the Catholics, the Southern Baptists, the Pentecostals, those religious cults. Those are your predators. Safe people are your trans family members. You know, the ones that you don't even know are trans. I told you, if you've ever taken a piss, a shit, or a shower outside of a place that you call home, you've done it next to a trans person. Please notice how you were unscathed. You want to know why? They do just what you do. They get in, they take care of their business, they leave. They advertise the fact that they are trans about as much as you advertise the fact that you are cis. These assholes make a shit ton of money by lying. And not just lying, but demonizing. Again, the self-harm rate in the trans community is high. But it's not because they're inherently fucked up. Again, especially Christians. Again, that persecution that you experience, you don't. That is what our trans family members actually experience, and that's at your hands. Again, I would say, imagine walking into a world every day that fucking hates you. Our trans family members, a lot of times, they don't have to leave their house. to receive the hate and the persecution that Christians, you say you experience. You don't. You got no fucking clue. Okay, before we roll into this real fucked up ass video that I found, I'm starting to think about the people that I know and I love and I care about who are being personally affected, especially down here in the state of Texas. Because Greg Abbott has 100% turned this place into Nazi Germany. You now officially, and I'm not even joking, you officially have to hide your trans kids now. You do. As parents, you have to lie. As teachers, school nurses, you have to lie. I know 2 families that are leaving the state of Texas. One kid, 100% trans. The other one won't put a name to it, so the family's like, we're not putting a name to it. They were born assigned, bam. They dress not stereotypical to that. So it's like, and they asked the kid, are you up or up? The kid won't, they're like, I don't know. I don't know what this is. Well, what do you want to wear? You want to wear this or that? The kid chooses that, so then we'll get it. They're leaving the state of Texas. I've watched those families cry. I've watched some of these kids. No, these 2 kids, I have watched them grow up. I've always said, gang, there's a difference between theory and practice, right? And I think that's kind of what it was when I was retweeting those videos in the beginning of my Twitter career, whatever you call it, where a white person, nigger, you're a fucking nigger, 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 yoink! And that nigger would knock them the fuck out. No, Robert, that's assault and battery, and if I was a lawyer at a habeas corpus, I plead the 5th. You can't handle the truth, shut the fuck up. I know what the law says, but when you're sitting there in that moment, and again, by the time a black person reacts to that insult, do you know how many times they've turned the other cheek? By the time someone rolls the video on that, it's like, you know what? That was my 99th nigger. There will not be 100. That's what it is. And there was that video. Was that on Twitter? Oh, it was. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. You know what? I won't even describe it. Let's just say there was a bullying incident, a heterosexual kid versus a gay kid. Let's just say the gay kid, he was sick of it. So he whipped his ass, and let's just say he did something. It wasn't sexual, it was dominant. It lasted 5 seconds, but it was dominant. It was like, okay, I'll tell you what. And I asked a couple of people at work about it, and it's like, oh, that's XYZ, and according to the law, I would sue the kid 12 to 15 years, roll after 80, shut the fuck up. A friend of mine, whose kid does not fit neatly into a gender box, let's just say, I asked her that. And I told this person what the gay kid did. You know what she did? She laughed. She laughed. And then, because my question was, did that kid take it too far? She's like, fuck no. She sat there, gang, and she laughed, and she smiled from ear to fucking ear, right? And again, there's a difference between theory and fucking practice, Jack. While you're not trans, while you're not being called faggot and it and tranny and being misgendered, you have the calm. You've got the ability to sit there and be like, okay, what the child should have done was to breathe deeply through their third eye of the ninth chakra. Then after that, you tell the homophobe, please respect my gender. No. Right? Difference between theory and practice. My friend, I've seen her cry because this state has demonized her kid. I've seen it. I've heard some of the stories from her and other people of what their kids go through. We are demonizing trans people because they are trans. And none of the criticism is legit. They're not demons, they're not predators, they're not sick, they're not confused. Please go fuck yourself. Read Autobot Transformer. Hold on. Let's go ahead and get the shared screen capabilities here. Twitter. Okay, gang, this is gonna suck. And I'm gonna tell you what we are going to do. Yep, Uncle Bobby's gonna take the small screen. Now, gang, let me go back to this screen right here. And we're gonna blow up Sway. Now, gang, from what I understand, with my crack commando abilities to do research, this is legit. This is a trans woman who lives one state north of me. She's in Oklahoma.
I knew I was gonna do that.
I'm going to let her speak for herself.
Oh.
This is 45 seconds of you better strap it up, because this one sucks. Roll the tape.
We're gonna get this shit.
Do not stay because where we live now is making it illegal for me to exist. I had to tell my kids that I'm leaving for another state because Oklahoma won't let me live here. This is not okay. This is not okay. Where is everybody? We need your help. Where are you? I don't want to hear you're a fucking ally. I don't want to hear your accomplice. I have to do another state because where we live now.
What do you say to that, Kate? She's right. My monkey ass is over here trying not to cry right now. What do you say to that? Her very existence has been deemed illegal. What has she done other than convert oxygen to carbon dioxide that makes her such a lethal danger to the society? That her mere existence is now illegal. Okay, fine.
That was
Uncle Bobby
weird. It
fell
like
for the
pulled back the
okey-doke,
other way.
and this is not real. Well, you'll never guess what, fuckfaces. That story is real. I know people like this. You guys know people like this.
Like
Some of my followers, this is your story, isn't it?
Like this and everything.
What do you say to that? She's not a predator. She's not a criminal. Her only crime is that she woke up in the morning and put 2 feet on the fucking floor. Conservatives and transphobes, please go fuck yourself. How does this not bother you guys?
Oh yeah.
Probably because you're soulless bastards. But how does this not bother you? And we were talking a little bit at work to people that I haven't seen in a while. And, you know, we were talking about the gun issue. And as far as I know, they don't listen to my show, but one of them said exactly what it is that I've always said. And that is, we haven't seen something so fucked up enough that we're willing to do anything about it. And that's what Uncle Bobby always says. Gang, evolution is a survival mechanism. It just is. You change when you are so uncomfortable that you have to change. When it comes to gun violence, we have not seen something so fucked up that we're willing to make the change.
Sure I don't hit the wall.
You had a coroner live from Uvalde, Texas, saying, I can't identify these kids that I've watched grow up because some of them don't have a fucking head.
Holy shit.
Ted Cruz said, what about the doors? That's what we have not seen something so fucked up in this world that we're willing to make a change.
Go around there and
I guess my point in that diatribe is, what have our trans family members done that's so vile that we have to make this change.
Get more grip.
What? Do you guys realize we have moved more swiftly to criminalize being transgender than we have made to own AR-15s? Do you guys not see how fucked up that is? A man sat there just last year and said, I've watched these babies grow up. I've done part of their physicals, right? I was there when they were fucking born. Now their bodies are being shipped to me so I can identify them, but I can't. You know why I know that's little Lisa? Because Lisa always wore green Converse high tops. That's the only way I knew. The AR-15 blew her head, smoothed the fuck off of her shoulders. What about the video games? What about the doors? What about mental health? Have we ever thought about the feelings of the AR-15s? Do you guys realize we have done more to criminalize being transgender than we have owning an AR-15?
Damn.
What was it that was so fucked up that our trans family members did that we criminalized it? How many mass shootings can you guys, watch this. One. I want you guys to think about how many mass shootings that you can think of by name. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In 10 seconds,
everything.
How many mass shootings could you name? Hit me in the comments. Now, take the exact same amount of time.
It feels like,
and tell me all the crimes that you can think of that our trans family members have committed in the name of being trans. Hit me up in the comments with that as well. You only evolve during times of discomfort. You change because you have to. Kids having their heads separated from their bodies. That's like, that's Tuesday, motherfucker. What seems to be the problem? Let's say this lady's name is Stephanie. Stephanie wants to be happy. Fuck that shit. I'm gonna tell you what. Fast track that fucking legislation, motherfucker. These trans faggots can't be happy on our watch. That's what we're focusing on. Fuck you. Listen to that again. Listen to that again. Go and speak your truth, girl. Go on.
Ow. Just making it illegal for me to exist. I had to tell my kids that I'm leaving for another state because I exist. Get it illegal for me to 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 exist.
It's illegal for her to exist. I'm gonna wrap this show up. What has she done?
Acceleration help pull
what has she done that is so vile that we have to make this kind of move? In 10 seconds, how many mass murders could y'all name? All of them were perpetrated by AR-15.
Gotta learn how to
I already
steer,
told you,
baby.
I don't know what the ultimate solution
Gotta
is,
use
but I
that
can tell we've got a
goddamn steering
fucking
wheel.
problem. You only evolve during times of fucking discomfort. We make changes because we have to.
Damn it.
So please tell me what it is that our trans family members have done that has created this love. You know what? Please go fuck yourself. Transform. Give her the screen. Look at that face, gang.
There we go.
Look at it.
He cut me off.
Gang, Uncle Bobby's only giving you one big motherfucking problem. As a result, Uncle Bobby's gonna give you one big motherfucking solution. Transphobes, shut the fuck up. You don't even care. I didn't even make a dent, did I? Did I? Look at her face. Look at her face. And she looked happy to you.
Let's go.
And what was her crime? What? Her crime was that she exists. But we're not having the same conversation.
Why do you guys keep ramming me?
Kicking actual faculties, you know, like Uncle Bobby. And again, not a solicitation call.
All those
Do not
Rams
feel
are killer.
sorry for me.
Part of it is like that car
don't
gets
make a dime
unstable,
off of
unbalanced in those
Not a
jumps.
red dime.
And
Wanna
I'm
know
not
why?
a
'Cause I
fucking
can't.
dirt bike
Because I
racer.
called
I
Mitch
do not
Peterson
know
a
how
coward,
to
and I called Larry Elder a super
keep that shit
That
as
got me
stable as I
tagged for
need to through
harassment.
there.
The fuck faces over at the Daily Wire. This is their cottage industry.
So I gotta line
Again,
that shit
let's
up
call her
better so that I
Stephanie.
don't lose speed
Their only mission is to make sure that you
and get rammed in
hate
my ass.
Stephanie. And you know what? They're doing a bang-up job at it, aren't they, gang? A bang-up job. Shapiro, they all fight for your ability to own a fucking rifle. What do you do for a living? Yeah, I'm a lawyer. Hey, you need a fucking bazooka? Sounds good to me. The Daily Wire and the like, they make much money. Tucker Carlson got his monkey ass on Fox and said it's an all-out war, trans people versus Christianity. The people with the loudest microphones are demonizing Stephanie and everyone just like her. This rips my heart out, man. This is absolutely fucking disgusting. I can't believe I have to talk about this. But the bottom line of all this is we are not having the same discussion. We're not. Uncle Bobby's telling you that trans people are good
See
to
there,
go.
you can pull
While
down there.
we're the
and then you
biggest
don't get bumped.
microphones who are making much money are telling you that Stephanie, she's a predator. Because that's exactly what she's not.
Went down the second there
If we
instead
could
of third.
ever have the same conversation, I think that maybe, gang, just maybe, we can start making some actual leeway. I don't know how to get us there. I don't. Other than making these videos, cussing people out at work, the foundation of our problem is that we're not having the same discussion. And it blows. Because people like Stephanie, they
Gotta figure out
suffer
how to,
as a result.
Not going
All right,
so
gang, the big
fast.
guys held you long enough. He's signing the fuck off. Gin and truth. Let's go.
All right, somebody got something they want to play that won't get us copyrighted?
Transphobia blows.
Transphobia blows. Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah, that is such an important fucking turn if you can actually get out of there with some damn speed like that. That is what we've been needing. Hells to the yard. Doop, doop. Fuck wall. I knew it was gonna be damn wall. That's the other spot I gotta stop. See if I could keep speed through there. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Watch me. Yeah, I lost too much speed there. Downshift. I like going through there in second. And then stay controlled and fucking pull through here. And then you gotta slow down. Damn it. I need the downshift there too. Downshift here. Pull on through. Sit in push them all the way into the wall. I got pushed into. The goal was to push them all the way in, but I could push them myself. Didn't quite make it. I'm not even trying to be dirty. It's just the way you slide in there. Sometimes if there's another car there, that's the only way to get through. Oh, come on. Yeah, spin me out in the control. There we go. Point through there. That's it. Yeah, hit that downshift helps. I probably should have just stayed in second. God damn it. Need to keep breaking through that corner. Alright, that wall's a killer, and I was only gonna get up to like 4th. Let's see, I don't know. I don't think anybody's doing anything in here.
Crash.
The Oscar goes to Dances with Wolves, Jim Wilson and Kevin Costner, producers.
Driving Miss Daisy. Richard Bizanek.
Green Book.
As if people of color have never made a movie about racism. You see, this is all part of a bigger problem. The problem of white saviorism. You see, when you live in a world where white people have done a lot of damage for a long time, it can be tempting as a white person to tell yourself that, hey, that wasn't me, and if I was there, I would be the white person who stood up against these injustices. So we make movies about what we would have done if we were there. If I was in the Civil War, I would have fought for the rights of black soldiers while doing a weird accent.
You really think you can keep 700 Union soldiers without proper shoes because you think it's funny? Now where would that power come from?
If I lived in the 60s, I would have fought against segregation, like this person they made up for Hidden Figures.
There you have it. No more colored restrooms. No more white restrooms. Plain old toilets.
I wouldn't be the white person being mean to the help. I'd be the one telling their story.
I want to interview you about what it's like to work as a maid. I'd like to do a book of interviews about working for white families.
As if black people haven't been telling us their stories for a long time.
Would you say that your work in La La Land really helped pave the way for white people to explain jazz to black people?
Has the American educational system let minorities down? Well, the solution isn't to make huge changes to the system, it's to send in super caring white people.
So you better make up your mind. Because until you have the balls to look me straight in the eye and tell me this is all you deserve, I am not letting you fail.
But there are a lot of people who live in your neighborhood who choose not to get on that bus. What do they choose to do? They choose to go out and sell drugs. They choose to go out and kill people. They choose to do a lot of other things, but they choose not to get on that bus. The people who choose to get on that bus, which are you, are the people who are saying, I will not carry myself down to die. When I go to my grave, my head will be high. That is a choice.
See, these movies act like they see the problem, but the solution isn't to do something about the problem, but to do something to make them feel better about their role in the problem. That's why they're dangerous.
Step on it just a tad.
But the thing is,
there.
white saviorism isn't just in movies. There are real life consequences as well.
Let's go ahead and follow that. Scroll it down. Just to map that ball through.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for liking and subscribing and commenting and all the wonderful stuff you do because and I put the links below for the social media as well as the Patreon, so you can join us there, join the party, lots of fun, and there's merch.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and
we should get some new stuff soon.
Talk and gather.
I'm saying that to myself. It's more of a note to self. We're gonna get some new stuff soon. We're gonna put some new stuff in the merch, and if you don't see any there, soon, just tell me, Trevor, where they.
Oh wait, also I don't have the audio for the game going through.
We have done a podcast episode of this before, but I wanted to key in on a few aspects we kind of talked about briefly and go a little bit more in depth. So that's why if you're like, did they already cover this? Yes, but in a different form.
Because I was paying attention together.
So you know. Also, usually if I use a clip from a YouTuber, I will put their name on the screen. I've decided not to do that with every video this time. A lot of times these are just smaller YouTubers, and I don't want people to go over there and shame them. A lot of times they are just caught up in this world and we're sold a bill of goods. If you do a Google search for mission strips, you will realize very quickly that there are many different organizations out there to choose from. And when you watch their promotional material, you will notice a few very consistent things.
During my last summer of college, I went on an adventure around the world, and so can you. Every year, thousands of college students go on short-term mission trips. Some go to build a school, a church. Some go to just travel the world. But for me, I wanted to experience what real daily missionary life was like.
The World Race is for people that are ready to leave their
I'm
comfort
not mad at it. Go.
to love the way Jesus loves, and to live radically for the sake of the gospel. There's more out there
Step
than
on
your
it a little bit
hometown
extra
where
there.
you grew
Yes,
up.
yes, come on.
God will use you to change the world.
I just graduated high school last year. I was gonna follow everyone else and go to college, but then I started filling out applications and I was like, this just doesn't feel right. Just because I look back on the person that I was, go to all the parties, and my last thought was the classes I wanted to take. I know now that had I gone to college, I probably wouldn't be in the best situation. But it's been so much better, and I've gotten to meet people and do things that I never would have. I have a better head on my shoulders, and I'm prepared to go to school next year and advance the kingdom there.
A wise man once told us, the mission does not start once you get here, and it doesn't end once you leave. A mission trip is more than that. Our mission is this, that from the mountains and hills of Guatemala to the valleys and coastlines, we have seen all colors, creeds, cultures, men, women, boys and girls restored to their rightful positions as sons and daughters, families truly restored.
First, you will be told how meaningful this trip will be for you. Then you'll be told that you can make a difference in the world, all while showing you images of poor people in impoverished areas and a bunch of children running around so happy to see these nice missionary people. Okay, and what's wrong with this? What is wrong with giving up time out of your busy schedule to go out into the world and help people? After all, this is a life-changing experience that helps you grow empathy. We like empathy, right?
Who should consider going on short-term missions trips? Well, I said last Sunday in the sermon, everybody. In other words, in America, let's just stick with America. We're wealthy, we're mobile, and we're connected. And it's easy.
Of course, I don't have anti-lock brakes on, so I'm just trying to avoid locking them
whether
up.
it's going to Burlington in order to help rebuild the church after Katrina, or whether it's going to the Dominican Republic, or whether it's going to Ireland, or whether it's going to Uganda, or Tanzania.
So pretty much anywhere? Like, you could have just said anywhere?
You could have just said anywhere.
Plenty to go, we have planes to go, we have the visas to go. and we can go.
All right.
So the first step to any mission trip is fundraising.
I'm not really sure why I signed up, because at that point I still didn't really believe in missions trips, so to speak. It was probably just because my roommates were going and I had never been out of the US, so maybe it was like a free vacation, only it wasn't free. Anyone who has ever gone on a missions trip knows that a big part of going on that trip is raising money. And since I didn't really want to go on the trip anyway, you can imagine that I wasn't exactly motivated to fundraise.
If you spend any time in a church or around people who go to church, you have gotten planning on going on a mission trip. I want you to
I can't touch the mixer right now.
giving your financial support.
Yeah, I can hear you.
First, write a support letter explaining
Oh, there's an echo.
why you want to participate in this type of ministry. This is your opportunity to invite people to be part of the ministry. Next, send it out to your community, your parents' community, your church, your friends, your family, and anyone else you think would be interested in joining your support. The tedious part about all this is gathering the names and addresses of everyone you send them. Ideally, you want to meet with each person after you send them a support letter.
And I gotta say, last year when I went, I was like, I can't ask people for this. Like, they're gonna think I'm so annoying. You're not gonna give. But I just decided to risk it. I decided to step out of my comfort zone and to text people, call people, email, write letters, get lunches,
put a real card
and explain to them, hey, I want to this trip, and we're doing this over there, and
It's just hard. It's just hard to
I
feel
can't
it.
do it on my own. Will you be a part of this story and this journey?
That's the problem. Oh my goodness.
That's very generous.
All right, come back in the chat. Come back in the stream. I can't. I'm doing too much. I got really distracted. Sorry.
All convalescences into morale.
That was really bad. I was in third.
You can also post a shorter version of this letter on your social media. Sharing your story will prove crucial in the fundraising process. And if you're going on the World Race or one of our other programs, you will be given a blog and access to a fundraising course too.
You can do what you want with your money. I'm not the money police. But if you ask me for money because you want to help people on the other side of the world, I may start asking questions about how that money is going to be used. Which is something I did when I was added to a family Facebook chat where my cousin was asking for money for a trip. I never did get an answer about what they were going to actually do on the trip, but I was told by a family member that I was being kind of rude for asking.
Lots of sacrifices that come into going on a mission trip. You're giving up time at work, you're giving up time with friends and family back home, you're sacrificing a ton of time and effort and energy, and then the most terrifying, scary sacrifice of all is the money. Now this is my second year going to Malawi, and Malawi will cost $3,900 to me, and then I might hopefully be going to Lebanon later on in the summer, and that's going to cost an extra $2,500.
A lot of money. And I'll be honest, I don't know what training she has that qualifies her over others to travel around the world helping people. But part of me wonders if that money can go further if it's spent a little differently.
Oh, I was on
but
my
again,
end.
I'm not sure what her special
Sorry,
skills
Karen, I might not have been. I
that
don't know what's
qualify
going on
her
my
to do
end.
these things that can't be done by, local people. But if God wants her to go, if God wants these people to go on
Also,
these
what the
missions,
hell?
He's going to
my
make
bad.
it happen.
And I won that most improved award. I guess I sucked the most at the beginning and then got a little better. But when I won this award, I was given my certificate and I was also handed an envelope. And when I opened this envelope after the ceremony, there was a check inside. And I am telling you, I could not make this next part up. The exact amount of that check to the dollar was the same amount of money I needed for the trip. And I'm sitting there looking at this check and I'm like, okay, God, be a little more subtle next time. And so I used that check from that award to fund my first missions trip to Nicaragua.
But at the end of the day, I have trusted God with my money over and over again, and every single time He's had my back. He's had a person help me out, or He's given me a new hosting job that raised me a lot of money, earned me a lot of money within just 3 days, or He's given me new opportunities to raise money or babysitting, you name it. He always comes through. And people are always like, how on earth do you afford to live in LA and do everything? And I'm like, I I don't like have a concrete answer for that because I'm not making enough for my job and I'm spending a lot. But the only explanation when it comes down to it is God. God's got my back. So when it comes to you wanting to do a mission trip like this, me wanting to do these, I don't worry because I know that I'm going over there and I'm doing something for Jesus and I'm loving his people, which he's called me to do, and I'm expanding his mission and being a part of something bigger than myself. And God's gonna honor that. He's gonna come through.
Okay, so God is going to supply you with money so that you can go to a place that doesn't have any money, so that you can help them out, instead of God just providing those people with money and resources so that they don't need your help.
And speaking of money, how about the $20 you owe me? Oh, yeah?
This is a really good belief.
Hey, Mo, you owe me 20. Well, here's 10, I'll owe you 10. You owe me 20. Here's 10, I owe you 10. Here's the 10 I owe you. Here's the 10 I owe you. Here's the 10 I owe you. Good, now we're all even.
Could God maybe just, skip the middleman? Just give them the money? Or does he not trust them with money? What I find interesting, too, is that whenever something you want to happen happens, it's God's confirmation that it's his will that you do this thing, whatever it is. But if something bad happens, it's the devil trying to stop you because he knows that it's God's will for you to do this thing. So whatever happens, it's God's will?
So the first thing that really stood out to me when I was on the missions trip that I was not expecting was that the devil is going to do everything in his power to stop the Lord's work from happening. I'm just going to give you a couple examples of things that happened on the missions trip that were like threats from the devil, I guess you could say. I knew that it was the devil's mission to stop me from giving my testimony.
Right, so the issue with this is that the off-road, it's just that it's off-road.
I said my testimony from my heart.
And so you've got to be on the edge to get enough
God's plan because
passing
it really
done
flowed nicely and
in time.
I just had a lot to say to the teens
but
and
the
I felt
car
like I was really giving from my heart.
So the devil tried to stop
gets
you from
off
giving your
balance
testimony,
much easier.
but then you did give your testimony and it went well.
And
Crafty devil.
Next few
as soon as
things
you get tempted to
were also the devil
get
trying
on
to
the
distract
gas,
me. There was
you're headed
really
towards a feature where you need to
boy
break
that I liked on the
out.
missions trip, and it would have been so easy for me to consume all my thoughts on him
Like
instead
that,
of the
like
Lord.
it's so hard to come out of there and then get
luckily
the car
the Holy Spirit was
fucking
telling me
on
to
platform.
focus on the missions trip and not on love relationships.
And then you gotta stop it from doing the snap oversteer thing.
I avoided that one. It was hard.
Try
So wait,
not
did
to
the
let
devil
one of
make
your
it so he was
competitors slam into the back of you.
Or did the devil convince the attractive person
Come
to
through
go
here
on a missions
swooping
trip? Is the devil
get
recruiting
on
people
the
to mission trips based on their looks to
gas.
distract
I gotta work on
other
this,
missionaries from doing
Stay
their
a second.
job? Or wait, did the devil give you a sex drive?
See, like he went flying. Like I tried to avoid going flying, right? Because I don't want to have to deal with trying to get the car settled after that shit.
Did the devil determine who you're attracted to? What exactly was the devil's role in this?
The next thing was there was a huge storm. I mean, like, there was lightning surrounding us. And we were outside, and my friend was giving her testimony. And this storm could have been the most distracting thing for these kids, and that was the devil trying to get the kids not to listen to what we had to say. And all of the leaders were looking around at these kids, and we were in our heads, we were praying for them that God would focus their minds on the message and not on the storm.
A little late breaking.
So let me get this straight. You went to a tropical
because you're trying to get
location,
these passes in here.
and then
Gotta like
thought
send
that
it.
the weather that happened in this area
always
that
goes
you're
too
not
short.
used to was somehow about you. This is someone who really believes they are the main character. Also, they are the people from that area, right? Like the people who were distracted. So maybe they know the weather a little bit more than you do. and know when to pay attention to a storm, because maybe storms are known to cause a lot of damage, especially in underdeveloped areas where mission trips might occur at. But again, that's the way it goes. If everything works out, God did it, and if there's any problem, it's the devil trying to stop you. How can you possibly determine the difference? Maybe it's because you already know what you want to do, and you are going to do it no matter what. Like this guy who wanted to convert Muslims to Christianity in a very Islamic country.
Missions isn't so glorious. The call to
That's a great
missions among
point.
unreached peoples is
Like where they're
often
just
exciting, but the reality
trying to
is
convert people from their
often
domestic
quite different.
faith.
We've now been working among Arab Muslims for the past 17 years.
See, that was
and it
just a
has not
little bit of
gone
breaking the
as I
pull
hoped.
around there. That's what's crazy about
I
this
never
thing, man. You can
expected
pull
that
this
after
thing on the edge.
17 years
But,
of working with Arab
this bitch will
Muslims,
bite you.
I would have personally been
Don't
involved
pull it
in
off.
seeing one person come to faith. I never expected it would be such a struggle for my wife to live overseas. I never
Like a
expected that I
goddamn
would get so
chicane going up and
discouraged
around
at
a
times
hill.
that I was wondering, am I depressed?
It's not
I
fucking
never
around.
expected we'd lose our firstborn son living overseas. But I've had
And then I
very
could
few
press on the
victories in my time
ground.
overseas. And that's okay. Because even though missions isn't very glorious,
Yes, come on.
Jesus is.
Okay, first, how can you think God called you to do something and
guys
then
are too
have
far ahead of
all
me.
these things fail so miserably and still think it was God who called you to do that? And how did they possibly think it could go any different? I mean, besides Jesus said so, you are going to have to go to an Arab country to try to spread Christianity. You know, that religion that they have been in conflict with for hundreds of years. What do they think would happen if a Muslim missionary came to a small Bible Belt town in America to convert Christians? Would they expect a different result?
Okay, so let me ask you, sir. You don't like this construction. Tell me about your dream mosque.
There is no dream mosque. We don't want a mosque. Mosque, as soon as you said mosque, you ruined it.
And the last thing that the devil tried to do to get me down
Yeah, that's how
was
she
that
do
I
that.
had a fever
Where's it going?
for
Let's go early.
3 days on my missions trip, and I was so sick. That was the devil trying to bring me down, trying to make me feel like this missions trip was a mistake. I should have just stayed home if I was going to be sick. But no, I still accomplished God's work. Even though I was sick, I stayed
What? I
faithful,
felt like I
and I
jumped
relied on
into the
God
fucking barrier
through
right
all
there.
of those things that the devil tried to get me down with.
Like, I literally thought that's
I
clear.
always find myself agreeing with the devil. Yes, if you're sick, don't go to a foreign country. I know she made this video before the giant pandemic of 2020, but we've learned our lesson by now, right? Like we know
Nah.
not to spread illnesses to other countries. No? No, we haven't learned that lesson yet? Yeah, that makes sense. Which is why in Brazil there are indigenous people who have to stay on guard to protect tribes from missionaries even since 2020.
This is the outpost of the National Indigenous Foundation, the government agency in charge of protecting the isolated tribes of the Javari Valley. But it was unable to stop missionaries from entering their lands and trying to make contact with them. One American missionary is said to have been found by the Matisse people down this river, the Taquai River.
This has been going
Nice.
on for so long, and it's been killing people for so long, which
Yep,
is
I
why
had to
it's
pace on
really
him.
hard to
He was-
have any sympathy for John Allen Chapman, a person that many Christians still see as a martyr.
John Allen Chow wanted to bring Christianity to the people of North Sentinel Island in the Bay of Bengal. Fishermen reported they watched as tribe members shot him with arrows. Now advocates for the tribe are insisting that his body be left alone.
Many tribes around that area have been wiped out by disease and invaders, so of course they are taking a strong stance. They are protecting their people.
Survival International advocates for the rights of tribes across the globe,
that's
especially
breaking.
tribes that resist contact with strangers. They say isolated tribes don't have the immunity from diseases that outsiders like Chow could be carrying. And any attempt to remove his body could be fatal for the North Sentinelese people.
It's really not uncommon for an uncontacted tribe, when they first have contact with people from outside, to be completely decimated by disease. Many communities, 90% were wiped out, and some, the whole community disappeared.
But it's okay. Missionary organizations think the risks were minimal. I mean, sure, maybe they'll get sick, but at least they'll have Jesus.
All Nations leader Mary Ho says that Chow joined the organization last year and was well prepared. She said All Nations considered any health risk he posed to be minimal. Chow received 13 immunizations before heading out, and he quarantined himself for days.
No one knows the exact health condition of the people, and in past history, yes, contact with Western population has wiped out local populations, but we are actually in a different time of
I have a problem with the
medicine
depth
and
of the
antibiotics, and I think a lot of modern medicine may be able to help the local population in some of the health issues. We just don't know.
Can definitely
Well,
get
we're
this
talking about
done with this
short-term
car
missions
and this setup.
A life-changing experience for the people who go and the people they help. Okay, well, let's start with that first part. It's a life-changing experience for people who go on the trip.
The way that these trips can be life-changing and meaningful for the team members is some of the very same ways that it can be life-changing and meaningful for those receiving them. When both those coming on a mission trip and those receiving a mission team are able to work together and serve alongside of each other in a community, there's life change and there's transformation on both sides. And in that sense, even though they're coming from these radically different backgrounds, they're actually participating in the same kind of life-changing
Nice.
I never actually went on a missions trip at my time at churches. I did a couple volunteer things like handing out food to homeless people, things like that. Something I still do, but without the you have to convert to Jesus part. But I did go to a couple planning meetings once when I was thinking about going on a mission trip and then decided not to. And I still think about those meetings often because of that emphasis. It's usually the people who go that benefit more. This was something that was supposed to be a selling point, but at the time, and still now, it put a bad taste in my mouth. For a long time, I just couldn't figure out why it bothered me so much. Helping people should make you feel good, and it's okay to help people and feel good about it. That's not why it bothered me. There was something more to that statement. I think part of it is that it's the selling point.
It's
Not
the
only did I learn the
dirt,
cliche
y'all.
truth that these missions trips are more often for the people who are going than they are for the people who are being served, which was absolutely true for me. But I also learned, and I continue to learn, that God is going to get you where He wants you to go, sometimes against your best effort. And at some point, again, hopefully
this outside
earlier than I
lane,
did,
please.
you're gonna have
There
to
it is.
just put aside your reservations or your fears or your stubbornness or your anxiety. You're gonna have to put all that aside, and you're just gonna have to say, okay, God, I surrender.
We are going to another country to experience their
I
culture,
am
to see
pumping
their
them
struggles,
brakes
to
through there,
experience
man.
their way of life
Pumping them
for a short
brakes
amount of
through
time
there.
so that we can feel better.
Trying to get
It
power,
feels like
but
we
not
are
like
using
it,
people
but-
as a prop
or stopping
to
power,
give us
but like in the-
perspective. It's about the experience. It's about the change in our heart and our mindset.
Because I think living your mission is less about that 1 week experience, and it's more about how are we going to live our everyday lives? How are we going to live when we get home? How are we going to impact our own communities? When we can start thinking about mission in that way, that it's not about this one experience, but that one experience can kind of propel us into action and can kind of change our perspective on the world. All of a sudden, I think that's where it becomes really powerful.
That Jesus changes you way more than you could ever change the people that you come in contact with.
You're bringing help to others, but God's also using it to help you. Give money towards endeavors, projects. Those are all awesome, but then also pray about taking the risk to go. Because when you're there, your heart is transformed in a very human way. Plus, you are God's tangible hands and feet, kingdom presence in their lives in the day. And
Very, very heart of it
It has to do with challenging and trying to engage all of us that have a faith to say, how will we live our life in a way that is about mission? It's about what do you do with the choices that you make each day, and what do you do with the things that God entrusts you with, and how do you live your life that has meaning and significance? And it really is all about love.
Bro, you gonna just wall me like that?
Sure. Maybe it's more about the experience than it is about helping people, but they are helping people, right? That counts for something. Did you see that? They were laying bricks and moving stones and stuff.
I will not stand idly by while these Mexican villagers are sick.
We're actually building a school.
Whatever. I won't stand for it.
There are 417 of us. 417 out of 7 billion.
We've given up our summer to serve God on the mission field.
We've come from all over the world to train at the Lord's Boot Camp in Merritt Island, Florida.
2 weeks of intense training, and the living conditions are rough.
We wake up at 5:30 and run an obstacle course, eat, spend time with
The
the Lord,
fuck is this
get training
shit?
and construction, and different methods of sharing Christ.
They're training these children to be bricklayers and sending them across the world. There's this famous thing on a DVD commentary of the movie Armageddon, where Ben Affleck tells a story about how he approached Michael Bay about how ridiculous the plot to Armageddon was.
I've been saying 8 months solid. 8 whole months?
Well, pretty much, yeah.
Gee whiz. Like 8 whole months, as if that's not enough time to learn how to drill a hole. But in a week, we're gonna learn how to be astronauts. 1 whole week? Now you know how to fly into space? I need my guys. Why do you need them? They're the best. Everyone's the best. Why are they the best? I don't know. They just are.
And when I see these clips of these kids learning how to be bricklayers or carpenters or whatever else, I think about that logic here. Is it really easier to train kids to be bricklayers than fly them out or drive them to this country? Or would it be better to just pay the already trained bricklayers who already live in that area to do the work that these kids were going there to do for a much cheaper price than it would cost to send these kids to pretend to be bricklayers? And a lot of times people have to come in anyway and fix all the mistakes that these kids make. But when you just pay local people to do the work that they're trained to do, the money that they're paid is now in that local economy, and it will benefit more people in that area. The money would go way further, and you would also spend way less money than if you just flew a bunch of church kids out there. But this part goes back to that white savior thing. We know what we're doing. They're just in a third world country. What do they know about this stuff? If we go out there, we'll take care of it for them. And we'll feel good about ourselves for doing it. It's like Renee Bach, a woman who thought that being white and American was pretty much the same thing as being a doctor.
We got our hands on this copy of the lawsuit. The Women's Pro Bono Initiative and 2 mothers filed this civil suit in a court in Uganda, saying actions by the group, the nonprofit, serving his children, led to the deaths of their children. The allegations stirring up a firestorm of criticism, and tonight, the woman taking the heat is firing back. The organization, not just for losing hope, but losing lives. 2 mothers and the Women's Pro Bono Initiative suing Bach and serving his children. Court documents say they were led to believe Bach was a medical doctor, claiming she unlawfully practiced medicine and offered medical services to unsuspecting vulnerable children. In these now deleted images, she's seen wearing a stethoscope, administering care to children. The plaintiffs say they only learned after their children died Bach had no proper medical training.
What stands out on this story is the fact that someone with no medical qualification would come to a country like Uganda and treat our children and then relate it to being a call from God. This is so dangerous, and it is happening in the missionary world as well. It is all about God. It is God who sends people to Africa.
There are a lot of people who grew up with privilege who have this mindset that they earned where they are in their life. And then the logical assumption after that is that the people who aren't in that position deserve to be where they are too. And they believe that just by being them, in their situation, that gives them the qualifications to help these people, even if it's in a skill set that they know nothing about. But these service projects, the construction, the serving people, isn't really the point of the trip, is it? It's to spread the word of the Lord.
There are 25 different teams with one goal.
One goal. One goal in one mission.
To proclaim Jesus Christ to all nations.
How we do short-term mission trips is really important because people really matter to God. So it's more important that we take the time to care about people, to get to know their name, to look in their eyes, to hear their story, to know who they are, to care about their dignity, than it is for us to do something for them. Because in the end, when we leave, what really matters is how we were a picture of God's love to all those that we connected with.
It doesn't really matter if we have terrible workmanship, as long as we make more Christians, because we don't have enough Christians, apparently.
A lot more about the people and the relationships than it is about the agenda or the outcomes or the end goals.
So, not only do they come in and take away possible employment from local people at higher cost, they don't really care about the quality of what they do because it's actually about the relationship.
We really strive to put everyone in a place where they have the ability to form real relationships, where they have the ability to hear someone's story and share their own story, and allow God to use them through that. And that's unique, and that's changing people, whether it's a participant or the people in the community.
It sounds tame, right? We just want to share our stories. We just want them to know what Christ has done in our lives. But what does that actually do? They frame it as they're just telling their stories, but they ignore the fact that missionaries have been destroying cultures for centuries.
How some in our society today view missionaries has changed a great deal from 100 years ago, when the American press wrote glowing newspaper accounts of David Livingstone's exploits in deepest, darkest Africa. Today, the media and many anthropologists view missionaries with suspicion as troublesome meddlers into primitive cultures. CBN News reporter Galen Tethrow has looked into the charges and has this report.
And it's not just about the saving grace of Jesus. It's about telling people that the things that they have been doing for millennia are actually evil practices that have to be stopped immediately.
All cultures have unique and beautiful elements. All also
kills
need to
me.
be redeemed.
I don't know. It just doesn't feel.
But in the process of bringing the gospel
realistic.
to all
Like,
cultures, tribes, and peoples, do missionaries
It feels like
do
you're
more harm
adjusting your speed so that it'll hit the
Cultures
wall
are
and stop,
fallen.
and then it
They need the healing
spins
power
like,
of Christ
like
to
a
fulfill
top,
their
and you're like,
God-given
how is
purpose.
that?
But today, many anthropologists contend that the
very
unreached
surprising.
peoples of the world would be better left alone.
I think it's a combination
In many
of
cases, it's cultural genocide
the
disguised
wall
as just
and
telling our stories.
like
This is
snap
Hollywood's
oversteer
portrayal of
happening
the
at
Christian
same
missionary.
time.
Rotten, hateful, a killjoy that preys on tribes and peoples.
Yes, as a matter of fact, that interests me a great deal. So why do you want to change them? If the Lord made Indians the way they are, who are you people to make them different?
But missionaries believe that for all cultures, including our own, the only hope of any people is Jesus Christ, freedom from the bondage of sin.
The gospel brings hope. It brings deliverance from all that.
Missions professor Dr. Howard Foltz.
And it raises people to their personhood in Christ and makes them what God created them to be in the first place. What is more positive than that?
Yeah, I think bad missionaries ruin culture, and yet I think that it's not like we're getting it right. It's not like we're sort of learning how to do it perfectly, and the way we know now, we're so enlightened, and they used to do it really terribly. I think it's always an adventure. I mean, that's the idea, and so to blame the generations that have gone ahead for making terrible mistakes, for preparing their faith with their government, you know, as those are messy things that we would not do anymore. But we learned not to do them because people did them. So to me, I try not to be too judgmental about mistakes made in the past, and yet we do need to learn from them.
Everyone makes mistakes. That's why they put erasers on pencils. Duh. We've made a few mistakes. We learn from the way we've destroyed societies. Who am I to judge?
Some people are so geeky.
How geeky are they?
Hey, they write articles where even the headline is a snooze. Here's a headline of an article I read recently by Andrea Dilley. The surprising discovery about those colonialist,
Yeah, I think I need to be
proselytizing missionaries.
second there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was.
Although,
The surprising discovery about those colonialist, proselytizing missionary. Translation: hey, those missionaries who go overseas and impose their values on people, we should just leave those cannibals alone and let them just keep eating each other. It's that wicked to impose our values on people.
It's almost like Todd Friel is a very bad person who no one should listen to. But also, we kind of should pay attention to him because he says the quiet part out loud. These missionaries think that they have the answer and everyone else are just dirty savages who need Jesus. In Canada and in a lot of countries, we see the way that missions have harmed our First Nations in a way that they are still feeling the hurt from.
Ripped from their families and put in residential schools, Indigenous children were forbidden to speak their own languages and practice their traditions. Many were sexually and physically abused. Sheila North's mother was one of the 150,000 children who passed through Canada's residential schools. The forced assimilation deeply scarred North's family.
Right on the
It strips away people's dignity. It strips away people's self-worth. And then when they pass on and become children or parents, they treat people the way they've been treated unconsciously.
But you know, whatever. Everyone makes an oopsie.
I think bad missionaries ruin culture.
Come on.
Just look at what so many countries that have been the targets of evangelical missionaries have been doing to their LGBTQIA.
That right there. Where it snaps and then it just goes
Uganda is the #1
wonky direction.
destination for American missionaries. They are flocking. When you get on the plane,
Sorry, I gotta get on the gas. The brakes earlier there.
Everyone's praying in groups at the airport.
The controversial bill proposed death sentence for
And then I'm trying to go
The law
at the
says
apex.
no homosexuality in this
I don't even
nation.
mind
It's
if
an
I bump that
abomination
a little
to
bit.
God.
This is so much
We
better
can't
because
pretend that they're just spreading love. This kind of thing has real world consequences. Maybe your missionary spent so much time asking if you could reach the entire world for Christ without asking, should you reach the entire world for Christ?
We spend so much time asking if we could cure jockage, never asked if we should cure jockage.
But Trevor, what about the poverty? What about the orphans?
Definitely the same struggles as the other side of the island in regard to just the depravity. And that same instant connection that you can have with people. Bedley, a little boy just, run up and just instantly feeling comfortable playing with my arm hair.
After all, children are one of the biggest draws for missionaries. I know, because I was the one that blurred all their faces in this video, and that was really time-consuming. If you look up mission trips on Instagram, you get a bunch of photos of people posing happily with children who are in no way related to them, besides the fact that they saw them for a couple days on a mission trip. But yeah, sure, that might be tacky, but what could possibly be wrong with helping orphans? Do you hate orphans, Trevor?
Their nights of sleeping on floors, enduring mosquitoes, and taking on the heat brought love to the orphans, comfort to the sick, and good news to the poor.
We also had opportunities to love on the children. From Bounce House outreaches for the community to serving ice cream to over 300 kids at an orphanage and loving on disabled children.
If there are any Christians that are still watching this, even if you don't like me, even if you can't stand me, even if you've disagreed with everything I have ever said, and you think I'm a bad person who is going to hell and is sending people to hell, please, can I ask you one favor? Just one thing. Please, 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 never use the phrase love on again. Ever, ever, ever again.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It is the most cringy thing I have ever heard in my life. And I was an evangelical Christian for 30 plus years.
I'm done. Do what you want. Pull the plug.
Stop and think for a minute, especially if you live in a westernized country. When was the last time you saw an orphanage in your city? Think about the movie Annie. Annie's an orphan, right? She lives in an orphanage. Except for in the 2014 remake, where she lives in foster care. You just don't see that institutionalized approach anymore. We've realized that the better thing to do is to offer resources and assistance to families so that they don't feel like they have to give up their children. And in situations where the kids can't stay with their family,
damn it!
They are placed in
I cannot believe I did that.
Yes, it's a
cannot
system that still needs a lot
believe
of work, but we know at least
I
it's a
did
better
that.
option
I let
than
him
an
go by me
orphanage.
right at
But
the
when it
end.
comes to other countries, we are more than okay with dumping so much money into these institutions. We
I'm
don't
doing
want it for
more.
our kids, but we're okay with it for their kids. It's estimated that
Oh,
over
it's so
80% of
frustrating.
children in these orphanages have parents who are alive. Many of those parents who visit regularly simply see this as the best option for their children, as they do not have the means to support them. And if there were means to support them, they would. But many local governments don't see a need to put these programs into place because these missionaries already come in and start these orphanages. Remember what that guy said about the kid who was instantly drawn to him?
Instant connection that you can have with people. Like Bedley, the little boy, just run up and just instantly feeling comfortable playing with my arm hair.
That's less cute than you think and more of a sign of an attachment disorder. Not only did the parents see the orphanage as the only option, which would cause abandonment issues for sure, now they have a rotating door of people coming in, giving them attention, giving them gifts, taking photos with them, and then leaving for good until the next group comes in. Listen to this person who actually does support mission trips, but doesn't support this type of mission. Talk about it.
As you see the children run up to you and they're excited and they hug you and they're friendly, they want to sit on your lap, and you can often look at this and go, wow, these kids are so happy.
Yeah.
This is
And
evidence
they
of
love
this being
me,
great.
And I am the savior to
Exactly.
them all.
And what we don't stop to think about it from a child development perspective, or even reflect for those of us that are parents on our own children's behavior.
Yeah.
If my child was to meet a complete stranger, is that how my child would react? No.
No,
They're
my
going
daughter
to
would
hide
not.
behind my leg.
Correct.
They're going to peep out and they're going to have a look, and then they're going to watch me, watch how I interact with this person. And after a little while, they're going to go, I think my mum's giving me a signal that this person's okay. So now I might go sit next to them and draw with them or do something. And over time, longer time, that affection might come out. But it's never immediate. That's unnatural. That is evidence of reactive attachment disorders. That is not normal child behavior. But it's hard for volunteers to interpret that.
Yeah. When you
It's harming these kids, but you get your cute Instagram photo that makes you look like a good person. And then there is also the other possibility. You take a bunch of children and you put them together away from their parents with not enough supervision, and then you invite people from all around the world to just come in and have access to them. What are you expecting to happen?
FBI agents and police arrested 60-year-old Gregory Dow at his home in rural Lancaster County. They've charged him with abusing 4 teenagers at an orphanage he ran in Kenya, then fleeing arrest in that country.
A federal judge acquitted an Oklahoma man on 3 charges accusing him of sexually abusing children at a Kenyan orphanage, but they denied him a new trial on 4 other counts. The jury found Matthew Durham guilty in June on 7 counts of engaging in illicit sexual conduct in foreign places. Today, U.S. District Judge David Russell acquitted the 21-year-old on 3 of those counts, ruling that government prosecutors hadn't proved he engaged in sexual acts with the 3 alleged victims. No sentencing date has been set on the 4 convictions.
Well, according to federal investigators, Meredith, this all took place in Brazil, and this man, a missionary from this church right behind me here in Sanford, the New Tribes Mission, was flying into OIA from Brazil, and that's where federal agents were waiting for him. As soon as he got off the plane, Warren Kennel was found with 2 hard drives in his luggage. On the hard drives, 2 images.
A former pastor from Milledgeville was scheduled to be sentenced today for sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl. Eric Tuninga pleaded guilty in February and could serve up to 30 years in prison. Federal prosecutors said that assault happened 3 years ago while Tuninga was doing missionary work in Uganda.
It's disgusting, and a lot more needs to be done to stop it.
Sometime in every Christian's life in America, they should do something. Every time you're 9 to 90, plan a couple of weeks of short-term Christians. I can't think of any reason why a Christian wouldn't want to build that into a life plan. And then to say, maybe God will do something with it that'll shape my whole life. So I don't want to pick out a category of Christians and say they should do short-term missions. I think all of us should.
For flying in, you can just see open space everywhere. The population density here is a lot lower. And then stepping off the plane, I kind of got hit with a little bit of heat. But something else that struck me was there's a lot of poverty that we drove through, and just it's a different way of life. And so I think I'm really looking forward to being able to minister to the people there, but also the perspective is really valuable, and I don't think there's a lot of places in America that I can really go to get that same experience. I think this is an invaluable opportunity to go and experience the way
every once in a while I do something, I like pull on my steering wheel and the whole fucking good
something
news.
that I don't think I could ever get
It just has
through a book or
grit.
without actually living.
Yeah, that perspective is valuable, which is why missions organizations are a big business. It's a business that relies on showing images of poor communities and taking their missions groups to poor communities, which many say contributes to the reason that these communities stay in the conditions that they are in. You can't convince people to give money to a community that is already doing well. You can't sell the poor people experience if you're actually helping these people.
It's easy to give money. Anyone can give money. Say here, take care of that problem. But it's out of your comfort zone to go to that place where it's maybe hot, maybe out of your comfort zone to actually to sit and be with the children, listen to them, see what's going on. Walking through mud, walking through different places that are really hard to get to. But at the end of the day, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it when you get to offer something to them, and of course they're going to offer something to you that will change your life forever.
So you keep them poor while the CEOs of these mission organizations make 6-figure salaries. And even if they aren't deliberately keeping them poor, ask yourself this: why are these organizations who have been in these areas sometimes 50 to 60 years, why haven't they changed the economy in these areas for the better? Why are these areas still struggling so much if these trips work so well? Maybe because they work well for the organization and for the people going, but not so well for the people they are exploiting, the people that are supposed to be the ones getting this help. Human beings living their lives are not objects for you to come and see so that you can change your perspective. But at least these people get to see that really radical drama that these youth group kids have been working on, right? Okay, here's the thing. If you want to see other countries and cultures, that is awesome. You should do that. But do it as a tourist who pays them for things while you're there. Do it as someone who contributes to the local economy, not takes away from the local economy. Sure, it's harder to raise money for a trip like that, but at least you know you're doing something that isn't destroying lives. Humble yourself and realize that sometimes there aren't quick fixes to the world's problems. It'd be nice to just raise some money, do some good, and then feel better about your impact on the world. But maybe it just doesn't work that way. Maybe the world is a little messy.
Holy shit, gang.
At the beginning of this
We
video,
stuck in there. We
how
hung
we
in
like to
there.
imagine what we would do if
And we got
were
a first
alive
place
when
finish.
these injustices were done. And a lot of the times
That's
we
all
like to
the
imagine
adjustments.
that we would be the hero of the story. I got some
The
bad
change in
news,
car.
and I've got some good news.
The research on the
Bad
tuning.
news is that injustices are happening all around us. People are trying to take away voting rights from minorities.
Oh, that car feels
Police
good.
are systematically killing black people. Many places are making it harder and harder and even illegal for trans kids to get the medical care they need.
Appreciate your help, Carrie Ann.
Anti-LGBTQIA laws are on the rise.
That's
Segregation
a fucking
is not
interactive
over.
win right there.
We still
for the
have
game.
many barriers of entrance for minorities when it comes to education, living situations, and employment. And we still have prison systems that are disproportionately filled with minorities. The good news? You can be the hero that you imagine.
Can't believe we got a first. Oh my
There are
goodness.
many ways to stand up against injustices. Join or organize protests, sign petitions, write letters to politicians, be the
Now
voice
they're gonna give
for
us
the
some fucked up
voiceless.
ass rally
Stand up when you
championship.
see injustices in your daily life. Speak up when you hear people saying negative things about marginalized groups.
If so, we're good to go.
If you
though.
can do it, give money to organizations fighting for rights. Find
Oh, we
ways
did it, gang.
to make a difference. And most importantly, listen. Listen to these people who are being oppressed. Listen to these people in these marginalized groups. You're walking alongside these people, supporting them. You're not coming in to be their savior.
Having a great time.
There
Just,
are many ways
That
to
was
make a
super
difference
fun.
in
This
world.
that dirt racing is
Sometimes
challenging.
It's one-on-one.
Super
Sometimes
challenging.
it's just having a kind word. Sometimes it's just
Super
buying someone a meal
challenging.
or dropping off some groceries.
And get more experience with that.
There are plenty of ways to make this
It
world
is
a better
fun.
place. But from what I can tell,
That was probably the most
going on a
satisfying
missions
win
trip
I've had
just isn't
so
the
far.
way to do it. As fun as it might be. As always, thank
Hell
you so much
yeah.
for making it this far. If you know somebody who may benefit from this, send it their way, and you have yourself a great week, a month, however long it takes us to see you again.
Work, Sky Moon.
Totally didn't forget to record
Feels
this
so good to
intro,
get those done.
and I just happened to be wearing a different shirt, not because it's the next day or anything like that.
All right, gang. I'm gonna I'm gonna head to the beach and put on something overnight in a minute. But I'm just wrapping up my stream with a fucking win. Man, that felt so good. All right, now hopefully we're back on the road to collect Ferraris. Well, let's see. Ferrari's logo. Yep. Cavallino Rampante. Little prancing horse. Damn. All right, time to get these Ferraris. All right, let's call it there. I just wanted to see what the next challenge was going to be, to see if it was going to be some sort of fucking rally challenge. Yeah, appreciate y'all, Carrie Ann. Thanks so much for rocking with me. That was a good time. We worked it out, got that win. Appreciate your help. Thanks everybody else that tuned in. Yeah, we'll catch you tomorrow. Probably over on Pocket Locker. Please subscribe to Pocket Locker down in the description. Hunter Biden's laptops. Like the video. Let people know we're out here. We'll see you next time. Said I'm gone.
that sweet juice. Minute Maid, some of out that lemonade. Take a sip, blowing purple clouds, taste like lemon haze. Conversations back and forth like damn, we could go on for days. Looking back at it like damn, she bad when she walk away. Here we go, been down this road, they already know. When we go on tour, I'll take you anywhere you wanna go. People talk about us like they understand just what this is. I just wanna give you all you want and then the double it. They all say I'm way too